Well, hello there. Good morning and welcome to your favorite breakfast on TV. It is the AM show. And as usual this morning, we shall bring you some updates in the news. We will as well bring you some sports update. And of course, the news review with Dr. Ekwa Amwako, Deputy Spokesperson, Baumia Campaign, and as well Dixon Tredia, MP Brekum West. And on to our big stories this morning. In search for peace, government inaugurates committee to broker peace among feuding factions that has left over 30 people dead, settlements plundered, and over 50,000 displaced in Gbenyiri in the Sawla-Tuna-Kalba District of the Savannah Region as the nation races against time to contain a humanitarian crisis. What must give to restore peace in Gbenyiri and its environs? And as well, Ghana no longer eligible to receive foreign assistance from the United States and the Millennium Challenge Compact aid debt dispute. A look at the international politics and the diplomatic role, plus impact on Ghana's development agenda. You definitely don't want to miss today's show. And so this is how to be part of it. You can join the conversation with your thoughts via phone and as well on our social media handles. Definitely stay with us. And a reminder that the AM show, it's sponsored by Kenogo Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Now the AM News comes up with Karen Luella Yali.
Hello there. Good morning and welcome to the news on the AM show with me, Noella Karaniali. And our top story, government is intensifying efforts to ensure the safe and dignified return of displaced residents with the inauguration of a 7-member mediation committee to resolve the Gbenyiri conflict in the Sawla-Tuna-Kalba District. Now, the clashes have claimed several lives and forced more than 50,000 people from their homes. Interior Minister Mubarak Mohammed Muntaka inaugurated the committee, chaired by peace-building expert Emmanuel Habuka Bobande and Collins Frimpong reports.
The Gbenyiri conflict has left villages deserted and families broken. More than 50,000 people have fled their homes. At least 13,000 have crossed into neighboring countries, while others remain scattered across the Savannah region with nothing but what they carried and when the violence erupted. Amid this devastation, government has inaugurated a 7-member mediation committee chaired by peace-building expert Emmanuel Bombande. The team has a 1-month mandate with clear terms of reference to facilitate the safe and dignified return of displaced residents. Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak tasked the committee to promote reconciliation and dialogue.
Members of the committee, this responsibility is a heavy but honorable one. The people of Gbenyiri and its surrounding areas look up to you as instruments of peace, reconciliation, and healing. Government looks to you for practical, credible, and sustainable recommendations that will not only bring relief to the affected communities, but also foster long-term stability and development in the Savannah region.
He further assured the committee of full logistical support, urging them to collaborate with civil society organizations, development partners, and faith-based institutions in carrying out their work.
The ministry will provide the necessary secretariat and logistical support to enable you to discharge your responsibilities effectively. I'll also encourage you to leverage partnership with civil society organizations, development partners, and faith-based institutions as you carry out this noble task.
Chairman of the committee, Emmanuel Bombande, pledged to build government's efforts to ensure the safe return of displaced residents and restore calm to the affected communities.
So the first thing the committee is seized upon is to build on the Honorable Minister's mission so that we can expand the scope of reaching out to everybody to appease our hearts and to bring back the sense of belonging to one another. A people who have been always together, but something has happened and they separated. And in that separation, people took long journeys outside their homes. How do we begin the journey to return to our communities?
For the thousands displaced, the work of this committee is crucial. It is a chance to return home, to build lost livelihoods and to restore a sense of dignity after months of fear and uncertainty. Reporting for J News, I am Collins Frimpong.
Away from that, Ghana is emerging as a strategic partner in a global movement aimed at transforming cities through local leadership and innovation as the World College of Mayors ramp up its international outreach. Now, during a visit to Ghana, Chief Operating Officer of the institution, Dr. Manohar Roy, outlined the organization's ambitious plans to bring mayors together from across continents to exchange solutions for sustainable and inclusive development. The following report has more.
The College of Mayors seeks to create a knowledge-sharing ecosystem where city leaders can learn from one another, replicate successful projects, and build networks that drive long-term growth in their communities. Manohar Roy is the organization's Chief Operating Officer.
There are many projects that happen in say, for example, if you take Tamale, there is maybe some small town there in Tamale, which is doing some wonderful project that is not known to maybe a city in Kano region of Nigeria, or for that matter, say, a region in India. We want all these mayors to come up so that sustainable development happens, and it happens at the grassroots level.
Abdallah Salam is the cultural director of World College of Mayors.
World College of Mayors is there to promote Ghanaian youth, not just Ghana, Africa, and entire global. We do training, and we have sports event, cultural event, and if you are able to attend one of our events, trust you me, there are a lot to acquire and gain from.
With grassroots development at the core of its mission, the World College of Mayors sees local leadership as the engine for global progress, and Ghana may soon become one of its flagship examples.
Now, spare parts dealers at Abossey in Accra have served notice to foreign nationals operating in the enclave to vacate their shops or face forceful eviction. The group embarked on a sensitization exercise today, giving their counterpart 48 hours to leave the market. Adobia Asare was at Abossey earlier and has filed this report.
It's good news. It's just the name of a spare parts shop here in Abossey, but there's no good news here. Ghanaian traders are raising concerns about foreign nationals taking over their businesses, putting pressure on them. We are here to gauge the mood at Abossey Spare Parts Hub and get their concerns and exactly what they are going through. Anoba runs the Good News Spare Parts shop. He says they've now become orphans in their own land because authorities fight them instead of fighting for them, while foreign nationals thrive in their businesses.
Personally, I feel very, very bad because we are orphans in our own land. Why am I saying so? We don't have anybody to talk to for us, because Nigerian people will come. They will bring the spare parts from Nigeria to Ghana here to come and supply to us. Maybe, let me say, maybe an engine, maybe a Kia engine that they will supply to me, maybe 8,000 Ghana, and I will put it inside my shop. Somebody will go to that person who sold his own to me for 8,000, and the person will give it to the customer 7,000 cedis.
Kennedy Ntil says harassment from the GRA and the conduct of foreign nationals pushed him out of the spare parts trade after more than 2 decades.
Look at a young man like me, hustling to get capital, have my own shop, rent it, and then trying to make a living. Or suddenly a revenue authority will come to you that we have seen you open a shop. I know I've opened a shop, I have to come and register with you. But as soon as you give yourself to others, it's like they have gotten you. The intimidation that they will bring to you, kind of story, what you have not done, they will tell you have done. Especially bringing these VAT issues and other stuff. I've suffered a lot from their hand. Finally, I have to close the shop.
While we were there, a truck moved through the market announcing the closure of all shops owned by foreign nationals by Wednesday, September 10, 2025. But these traders say they've heard such announcements too many times to be convinced. They want real action to secure their businesses. For Joy News, Amadou Biasari.
And from Abosokai, a group of newly posted teachers from universities and colleges of education say they have gone a full year without salaries. They blame the Ghana Education Service for what they call unfair and unsustainable treatment. Now, despite several meetings with GES officials, including the Director General, the teachers say no solution has been offered. Many admit they now survive on loans and the kindness of friends and family. And there's more in the following report.
A group of newly posted teachers from universities and colleges of education have threatened to embark on a demonstration on the principal streets of Accra in protest against the government's failure to pay their salaries and issue staff ID numbers.
The Ministry of Finance releases the necessary funds to pay our arrears and salaries without further delay. We are hereby giving notice that if by the end of September 2025, we are not issued our staff ID numbers, validated and paid our salaries and arrears, we will stage a massive demonstration on the principal streets of Accra to register our displeasure and the hardship we are going through.
According to the teachers, they have worked for 12 months without pay and have still not been granted access to their Ghana Education Service staff IDs, which are required for salary processing and other official services. They claim that although they were posted alongside other teachers who are currently receiving salaries, they themselves have been left out.
Specifically, teachers from the colleges of education have served for 12 months without salary, excluding September. And teachers from the universities have served for 8 months without pay, excluding September. We wish to emphasize that while some have been placed on the payroll and have been receiving their salaries and arrears since December 2024, many others are still yet to be placed on the payroll. Among those yet to be placed on payroll, some have already been issued staff ID numbers but have not been paid, while others have not been given staff IDs at all.
The teachers also expressed frustration over being posted from Accra to other regions of the country without any form of accommodation or allowances. They say they have been forced to survive on loans and the benevolence of friends and family.
Survivorship has been very tough because we rely mainly on loans from our colleagues, friends and family. Sometimes you even call a friend and he will not pick up your call anymore because he thinks you are come to beg him for 20 cedis, for 50 cedis, just to feed.
We've worked for 1 year, we've worked for 8 months, and we need our salaries. I'm from Accra, but I'm teaching in the north. Food, water. Look, we are just living on the benevolence of our colleagues and loans, quick loan.
And in a significant step towards promoting staff health and motivation, the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council (ARCC) has commissioned a new sick bay at its premises. The facility will offer first aid and basic medical attention to staff and their immediate dependent, marking a new era of health-focused workplace support. There's more in this report.
The establishment of the SIC to the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council will allow workers access to medical services without leaving the premises. The Ashanti Regional Minister, Honorable Dr. Frank Amwakwahene, commissioned a new sick bay, the first of its kind. He mentioned a past incident showing the need for such a facility. He emphasized the importance of staff health due to their workload and said referrals will be made when necessary. The sick bay is connected to the Suntreso Hospital for additional support. He assured staff they won't need a health insurance card and encouraged them to make full use of the facility.
The workload of the RCC and the demand on the staff here will require that their health needs are also taken care of. So I spoke with the Chief Director to make available an office space so that we'll be able to get it set up to attend to the basic needs when it comes to health conditions among others. And thankfully, we are here today to realize that dream. I want to thank the hospital administrator and the staff from Suntresu Hospital, who we are directly linked to them, so that in case of any issues, we would be able to get the needed support from that hospital as well. Here is free of charge. No need to bring any health insurance card or money for medication whatsoever. But thankfully, we have our mini pharmacy stocked with all the basic and emergency drugs, which is going for free. So we want to encourage our staff here that don't wait until your work is over before you want to go to the hospital. Keep them busy, because you are the reason why they are here.
The Chief Coordinating Director, Michael Owusu Amwakon, who identified the absence of a sick bay upon assuming office, collaborated with the regional minister to establish the facility. The Regional Coordinating Director advised staff to make responsible use of the sick bay. While the facility includes beds for emergency rest and treatment, he warned against misuse.
We'll entreat the staff here to make good use of the place. Not that the place should be used as a place for them to go and relax. If you are not feeling well, you can go there. But if you don't have any health issues, don't take advantage that the place is set up because there is a sick bed there that you can go there and relax and not doing your work as expected. But they should make good use of it. The intended purpose that the place was, set up, they should let us, go by it.
With 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region, the facility is part of a broader vision to improve the welfare of government employees. Staff members like Efia Konedu have expressed gratitude in the establishment of the sick bay.
Actually, for some years now, we've not had any sick bay at the RCC, but thanks to the ruling government, through Honorable Dr. Frank Amakwehine, now he's brought initiative and he's built a new sick bay for us, which is going to help the staff. So we are very appreciative. 8 months in government for someone to have this great initiative for its staff, I think is amazing, and we appreciate him so much on that.
The opening of the ARCC sick bay is a milestone in prioritizing staff health and well-being in the public sector. By offering free, accessible first aid services and promoting a culture of preventive health care, the facility is set to improve productivity and morale among workers. It stands as a model for other government institutions. Reporting for Joy News, Josephine Sego.
And from the Ashanti region, the principal of the Commander College of Education, Comenco, Very Reverend Professor Kwesi Nkum Wilson, has made a passionate appeal to the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to abolish the quota system, describing it as a major barrier to meeting the country's growing demand for teachers. Addressing the college's 15th congregation, Professor Wilson emphasized that the policy undermines equitable access and merit-based admissions, stressing that its removal is crucial for expanding opportunities for aspiring teachers nationwide.
The establishment of the SIG 590 teachers graduated from the Commander College of Education during the 15th congregation of the college. The theme for the day was sustaining excellence in teacher education, addressing infrastructure challenges. In his speech, the valedictorian of the 2024 batch of graduates, Dominic Graham, urged his colleagues to drive transformation in the field of education.
Each of us carry a story of perseverance, sacrifice, and triumph. Fellow graduates, as we stand on the brink of tomorrow, let us remember that we are not just graduates. We are torchbearers, builders of minds, and guardians of dreams. Let us go forth as teachers who do more than impart knowledge. Let us ignite transformation.
The principal of the Commander College of Education, Very Reverend Professor Kwesi Nkum Wilson, advocated for colleges of education to offer Ghanaian language as an elective course to expand Ghana's education curriculum.
I insisted that colleges of education should be mandated to offer Ghanaian language as elective. Every college training teachers to teach Ghanaian language at the basic school. It is important we do that. Not only that, music and physical education should be compulsory for every teacher, especially at the basic education.
He also appealed to GTEC for the removal of the quota system to allow for the training of more teachers in colleges of education.
Colleges should be able to take that bold step towards equitable access and merit-based enrollment, where the allowance paid should be stopped. It has lost its value. We have people with single digits not getting admission. As I speak today, I have over 3,800 qualified applicants waiting to enter Commander College, but I will not be able to take more than 400 because of quota. We plead that that quota system should be removed for us to. Here, a lot of teachers will be trained, and that is where we are going to create employment, so that Ghana Education Service will make a policy that to operate a private school, you need not less than 60% of your teachers to be professionals. In this case, we are going to train teachers for both private and public schools. They are all citizens of Ghana.
From Commander, Abigail Lesol Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Market update first, and we'll get started. And to our first story, an International Monetary Fund IMF team is expected in Ghana later this month for the penultimate review of the country's program, which is scheduled to conclude in May next year. Now, that's according to information obtained by Joy Business from sources familiar with Ghana's ongoing engagement with the fund. George Yafe has more in this report.
This would not be the last review before the program ends, as there will be another one in April 2026. That will be the final review for Ghana before the program ends with the IMF in May 2026. A review that will take place later this month has been described by some as very important, as the IMF is now worried about whether Ghana will stick to the fiscal discipline post-program completion. The review will primarily focus on the economic data ending June 2025. We understand that some of the issues that will come up strongly during the review is Ghana's inflation performance, the sustainability of Bank of Ghana's reserves build-up, a report on the audit of arrears, and weak private sector banks that needs to be recapitalized, as well as state banks. The rest will be how government is working to deal with the revenue shortfalls in the face of the cedi's appreciation against the US dollar, social spending shortfalls, as well as arrears build-up in other sectors. If Ghana passes this review, some $360 million should be disbursed to hit Bank of Ghana's account in October this year. Since Ghana signed up to the IMF program, it has so far received some $2.3 billion out of the $3 billion promised under this fund program.
And away from that, international relations expert Professor Vladimir Enchi-Danso is urging Ghana to push for a review over the decision by Millennium Challenge Corporation not to extend financial support to Ghana. Now, this was after the corporation raised awareness or concerns about delays by Ghana in reaching a deal with some U.S. firms on restructuring their debt. Professor Danso says Ghana must seek to convince the U.S. about dealing with their concerns.
Now, if you ask me, you can't force the U.S. until through their bidding. If we are prepared to play ball with them, fine, then we get it. But if we want to be resilient and dig our own way out and not rely, because if you rely on this permanent, then you will see that you are hiccuping a certain when they will stop. So for me, yes, automatically we can ask for review. But if they don't, let us be resilient in our, let us understand what is at stake. Because what they might be demanding of us might be some security guarantee. Give us your airspace for something, or give us an airbase, or give us whatever it is, which they are doing to almost every country. And they've done this to Ivory, and they are building a jumbo jet-sized kind of airfield in Koryogo, and all is geared towards annihilating whatever is going on in Burkina. Because what does Koryogo need in the northern part of Ivory Coast? A big jumbo jet-sized taking runway.
Let's take the news in the commodity markets now. And that's it for the business updates. But of course, sports is up next. And for sure, I know that the Black Stars is in the news following their win against Mali yesterday. Mufta Nabila has the rest of the story.
Thank you very much. And the critical aspect of it is that many football fans are saying that their destiny of going to the USA is in the hands of the Black Stars. These and many more right after this. Time now to bring you sports here on the AM show with me, Muftau Nabila Ablai. Ghana's Black Stars have opened a 3-point lead in their group following their 1-0 victory over Mali on Monday night at the Accra Sports Stadium. My colleague Mubarak Haruna was at the stadium and has details in this report.
Despite the frustrating draw against Chad, Ghanaians still turned up in their numbers to create a cauldron atmosphere for the Black Stars. The stadium was nearly full with cheers and applause echoing after the national anthem. The players tried to repay the faith with the first clear opportunity, falling to Antoine Semenyo after a brilliant run on the wing by Mohamed Kudus. Ghana's best chance in the first half. Just 5 minutes after the restart, right back Calabi Renchi's cross almost sneaked in but struck the crossbar. From the resulting corner, the Black Stars finally broke the deadlock. Alexander Jiku got the final touch to send Ghana ahead. to the delight of the home fans. Mali piled on the pressure in search of an equalizer, but Ghana's defense stood firm to secure all 3 points. However, visiting coach Tom St. Fint insisted his side deserved more.
But I think for sure after the goal that we were better and we were hunting for the equalizer. And before the goal, I didn't think that Ghana was better. Ghana was not bad, otherwise we would have won. Ghana was better than us on the end because they had the victory. But I think if you look to the match, that a draw would be more realistic today. I don't say we had to win, but the draw would be more fair result. Yeah, I'm not happy with the win, but Ghana did one thing better than us, and that's scoring a goal.
The win gives Ghana a 3-point cushion at the top of Group I, keeping them within touching distance to next year's global showpiece. But head coach Otuado is refusing to get carried away.
Now to you again, to warn everybody to think we have already gone to the World Cup. It's not like that. We have to give the same effort like today to beat Central African Republic. If we don't do this, it's a big problem. And if everybody thinks we're already gone, no, we're not done yet. We have a lot of work to do. A lot of work. It's going to be very, very difficult, very, very hard. But I think if with the right thinking, with the right mentality, we will get there.
For some fans, though, the dream of another World Cup appearance is already alive.
Our ticket is with them. The Blasters, we have to go to the American South. Yeah, they are holding our destiny is in their hands. I see they are on their way to World Cup because the remaining 2 matches is going to motivate them to play it well, both home and away. So I believe today has been an enjoyable day for Ghanaians, and I'm also happy as a unstoppable supporters union of Ghana.
I mean, technically we were very weak, so we are hoping that we come back stronger again. Yeah.
So are you confident the Black Stars will qualify for the
Definitely we'll qualify. In fact, if you go and then we have draw, and then we come back and we score, that's it.
Otuado and his men will regroup in October during the international break for the final 2 qualifiers against Central African Republic and Comoros.
And that victory means that Ghana is closer to securing a ticket to participate in the FIFA World Cup. One obvious thing that happened at the Accra Sports Stadium, once again, was fans overpowering security, with some of them jumping the wall to get access to the stadium. As you can see on your screen in there, these were some fans climbing the wall of the Accra Sports Stadium to get access inside the facility to be able to watch the game. And in fact, one aspect of the stadium, which is the scoreboard area of the facility, it has some deficiencies or defectiveness. However, fans still went there and packed the place to watch the game. This is something the National Sports Authority cautioned against, but guess what they did over there? They still had to go and climb the wall to be able to access the game. And one interesting thing that people would always talk about is that when it comes to the Black Stars, especially after a bad day in the office, you'd hear people run commentary saying that, oh, out for the Black Stars, they've given up on them. Then when it comes to international assignments like this, you see them climbing the wall just to get a glimpse of what the senior national team can do. Now, let me take you to the office of the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams. He has revealed that his office owes some category of technical team members of the Black Stars.
Owes some of the people that we are supposed to pay. Indeed, if you look at the contract say their salaries will be paid in arrears. So we've paid quite a number of them. We've paid from some who were owed from 2020, then now we've cleared. And so we are going to clear this one also. It's in process. It's in process. It's gone to the office of the president. Once it looked through and is okayed, the finance ministry will then be authorized to release same. The FA have to do some engagement with some of the officials to restructure their salaries or remuneration. And that agreement was done only recently. And they have since officially submitted a letter to my ministry. And that was done only this month, about a few days ago. And that was what kickstarted the process of doing this presentation. Again, we owe some category of officials winning bonus. We haven't paid it, but we are working on to get that also.
They're working to get that also paid. Let me just take you back to the African category of the World Cup qualifiers. These are some of the matches that were played. In fact, Tunisia scored late against Equatorial Guinea to become the second African country to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. And right behind me, we have Morocco defeating Zambia by 2-0. That victory from Morocco secured their World Cup ticket, and they became the first African country to qualify. And Mozambique also won 2-0 against Botswana. Equatorial Guinea, they sat at home and lost 1-0 to Tunisia. So Tunisia also qualified after that victory. Guinea-Bissau won 2-0 against Djibouti. Guinea drew 0-0 against Algeria. If Algeria had won their game, they would have also qualified for the African Cup. Uganda won 2-0 against Somalia. Malawi drew 2-2 against Liberia. Madagascar came from behind to win 3-1 against Chad. And Madagascar and Chad, they are in Ghana's group. Libya won 2-0 against Eswatini, and Ghana won 1-0 against Mali. If Ghana had won their game against Chad and won yesterday, the Black Stars also would have qualified to the FIFA World Cup. However, they will have to wait and do it the hard way in the final round of the World Cup qualifiers. In fact, a win and a draw in the last two matches will guarantee qualification for the Black Stars. Let me take you to the Polo Club, where Ashanti Royals and Dalani, they trolled some polo fans at the Accra Polo Club on Saturday. And my colleague Elon Banana, the family was there and has details in this report.
The event saw Ashanti Royals and Delaney go head-to-head in an exciting contest in the final, with Delaney emerging as eventual winners. The tournament climaxed with a vibrant mix of social, entertainment and auction activities, all aimed at supporting the Foundation's vision of establishing a center for hematology and clinical genetics at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Our project basically is to set up a center where leukemia will be looked at in more depth and provide more care for leukemia victims. Our Accra Polo Club is also a high net worth private members club, and it's also an exciting game. It brings people around. Okay, so if you have a story to tell and if you need help, I think it's one of the best places. There are other places, but it's one of the best places to start with. Okay, now the Edward Oseibuachi Trust Fund, which is also a private charitable trust, which sets out to help with health infrastructure, health support, healthcare, and all that, would like to go into more sustainable healthcare. And we think that supporting the establishment of a clinic is a very sustainable long-term support that we could give healthcare in Ghana.
The French ambassador to Ghana, who was also in attendance, commended the initiative and underscored the importance of addressing health challenges such as leukemia through platforms like the Accra Polo Club.
At a place like the Polo Club of Accra Polo Club, where rich people, real people on the ground, they can meet, they can talk, they can share, that is typically the right place where in common we can rally to fight together, to work together to find the best solution against any kind of disabilities.
The event also drew support from public figures including rapper Sarkodie and actress Jocelyn Dumas, whose presence added star power and further amplified the campaign's message. The event concluded with award presentations, photo sessions, and lively music performances.
700 Ghana cedis. Black label at 72.
And this is how we wrap up sports here on the AM show with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. We appreciate your time. The newspaper review comes your way up next.
So we are welcome to the Joy Sports Invitational here at the University of Ghana Stadium.
Welcome back to the show, and you're watching the AM show. AM show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank is strong, it's tough, but still, let's talk about water tanks, Ghana. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex Tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex Tank has your back. So, my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can as well call them on 0244 335 168 to buy now, or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Time now for the news review, and I'm currently joined by Dr. Ekwa Amwako, Deputy Spokesperson, Bawumia Campaign. A little later, we shall be joined by another panelist. But let's start our review this morning with Doc. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Always a pleasure to have you on.
Always a pleasure to be here. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you for asking. Very, 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 very well. Tell me how your week has started so far. It's just day 2 in the week. How's it been for you?
Yeah, and funny enough, I always almost always start my week on the show with your viewers. This morning is quite a somber one. I think the question on everybody's mind is why our Bono Regional Chairman has been unceremoniously kept behind bars. And it's not just that, because we become used to this government and indeed their influence on the police service being used against members of the NDC. But what really disturbs us is the affront to the processes of justice that we have in this country. Up until this morning, we are not aware where Chairman Abronya is being kept. Where he hasn't had access to his lawyers since he was whisked away from the police CID to an unknown location. We don't know what charges are being proffered against him, and I'm hearing it's something like disturbing the peace or something like that. He hasn't been charged with armed robbery. He hasn't been charged with murder, but it seems like he's been treated like a hardened criminal. And it's not surprising. It's beginning to look like a pattern from this government, arresting anybody that dares to criticize them with a loud enough voice. The funny thing is, all of this is also happening at the same time where we have thousands of Ghanaian refugees who have been displaced. I've been told some are in Togo, some are in Burkina, but most of them are in Ivory Coast. We haven't seen the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who, when he was in opposition and the ranking member on the Committee for Foreign Affairs, the same kind of incident happened in Ukraine, and we heard him all over the place, even flying all the way to Ukraine to go and ascertain what was going on. The difference is, at that point, the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government had already expatriated most of the Ghanaian students that were in Ukraine. In fact, we were one of the first African countries to successfully expatriate our citizens from Ukraine. Now, the trouble is happening here, and our citizens are refugees just across the border. You know, you could even drive to Ivory Coast, you could even drive to Bulgaria, you can drive to Togo, but we haven't seen our Foreign Affairs Minister do anything about it. We're just calling on him again to go and attend to the needs of Ghanaian citizens that are displaced. I have been told they have very little to eat, they are sleeping in tents, and it's an very uncalled for situation for a country like Ghana.
Usually for refugees or persons seeking asylum, you're likely to have them be in tents. It's not strange that they're in tents, are they? And as well, you've seen the news that NADMO and other civil societies are responding to their needs as well. Up until yesterday, the Minister for Interior has inaugurated a committee.
Are we not tired of the numerous committees inaugurated by this government? It's like one issue, one committee, and that's not the results that we expect. We expect that our Ghanaian citizens there are properly taken care of. I don't even want to go into the nitty-gritties of the conflicts because I always want to tread very cautiously when it comes to that. But what is very important this morning is that our people there are properly taken care of. The pictures and videos and the reports coming out of that region are very disheartening. And the difference is it is very close. It's right across the border. It's something that is just a drive away. And so we do expect more. It's not a matter of committees or plain lip service to the people of Ghana. We want to make sure that they are properly taken care of before we can then come and look at what could be causing the rampant surge in conflicts that we seem to be experiencing in this country. So, no, we don't think enough has been done at all. It's quite normal for them to be intense, but have you seen the state of those scenes? Some of the videos and pictures and indeed reports that come out of that area are a sight for sore eyes. Very little children, they look almost malnourished. Some are not even intense, sitting on mats outside and in the mud, and it's not something we should countenance as a country.
Paint a picture for me. How would you rather have it?
How would I rather have the refugees treated? The same way, I don't know if you remember, not too long ago, with the processes in Ukraine, do you remember what our Minister for Foreign Affairs did at that time?
At the time, he was part of the Foreign Affairs
He was a ranking member. Do you remember how verbose he was about the issue?
He was very vocal about it.
Even though the government was putting in way better measures than, I mean, I could say that more effort was being put at that time because the repatriation was indeed done very quickly. But now we don't see that, and I'm very happy that it's playing on your screen, and this is what people have to deal with. Have they received any aid? Have they received any medical care? What plans do we have to bring them back into the country? There's no need for Ghanaian citizens to be refugees in Ivory Coast. Indeed, we could bring them to Ghana, find them a camp. We hosted Liberians in this country for over 10 years, if I'm not wrong. So why can we not host these Ghanaians, so about 40,000 of them?
Proximity?
Yes.
Proximity?
Proximity to the conflict?
No, proximity to where they are now currently.
No, it's about the status of Ghana. We are sovereign states, and there's a lot of space in this country where they can be hosted. Are we saying that the only place that they can be hosted is Ivory Coast, that we have to rely on the benevolence of another country to take care of 40,000 of our citizens? Indeed, I don't believe that Ghana has sunk that low to rely on Ivory Coast and other partners to handle this for us.
On top of my mind, do you think that these people who have, they mostly as well migrated themselves to Ivory Coast, do you on top of your mind think that they wanted to be at least close to where they have been, where they've been domiciled for years?
No, I don't think that's the case. In a conflict situation, usually when people are trying to flee, they flee in the direction that they find closest to them, that they can find some safety. So they moved across the border because that's where it's close to them. But as a Ghanaian government, just as we repatriated people from Ukraine, you repatriate them back. If you have to put them in a camp where you then have access to them, they have access to the medical systems in this country, they have access to aid, they have access to feeding. Don't you think that's better than relying on the benevolence of the Ivorians? It's almost embarrassing for us as a country, don't you agree?
Well, the government is providing these services to them.
From the look of it, I don't see what they are providing, and it's obviously not up to scratch.
Okay, so you'd rather they are not hosted in Ivory Coast, one. You'd rather they are hosted in Ghana, and then two, you'd rather the foreign minister.
No, we want to see more action from him. If we didn't know or we didn't hear from him and know what to expect from him, this would be a totally different issue. But if the same instance happened, indeed, in a country where we could sort of speculate that our students were treated a little better while they were there, they were quickly repatriated. But now they are in Ivory Coast. We can see, because the videos were just playing on your screen, and it's not something that we want to see. I don't think you like the images that you're seeing on your screen. We would like to see more action from him, because he was very loud at that time, thinking that it was quite easy to handle these things. So now that he's empowered, I expect that he will show us everything he was talking about that time. because we don't need to see this. The bottom line is we expect these our fellow Ghanaians to be well treated. And you cannot really rely on the benevolence of your neighbors. We are very grateful for the hospitality they've shown the Ghanaian refugees so far. But can you imagine if this was the tenure of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo when we had Ghanaian refugees in Ivory Coast? I'm sure the Honorable Ablaka would have been on this set this morning, raining down hellfire on the government. So I think I'm actually being quite charitable with him. I think the minority and the MPP is indeed being quite charitable with him. And we just expect to see movement. We just expect to see work done. We don't want to see these kinds of images on our screens anymore. If once the people are properly taken care of, then we can move forward to discuss why the rampant rise in the conflicts are in the region now.
Okay. So if the foreign minister is not very vocal about it, but we have other ministers who are very and solving the problem, will it make you feel any better?
I believe the problem is being solved, MFA. That's the crux of the problem. You see, it's not just a matter of tit for tat with the foreign minister. The problem is not being handled, and it just so happens that he made Ghanaians, he made all of us believe that he had the know-how to be able to properly handle these kinds of situations. So we expected to see him up and doing, so that this matter would not have run so long that I have another opportunity to come and sit here to discuss it.
Okay, but the foreign minister is quite busy with the. You surely have heard what's happening.
Wow,
with
he's too busy.
He's not too busy.
He's too busy to deal with 40,000 Ghanaians.
50,000 actually.
Yeah, 50,000 Ghanaians who are stranded and don't even know it.
But what I find interesting with the submission is that the Interior Minister is taking this up.
Let me just land. Not too long ago, we sent a truckload full of aid to Palestine. You saw that?
Yes.
But we can't get our own people, 50,000 of them, back into the country and keep them comfortable.
That's number. I mean, I see that we're juxtaposing it with the numbers that were repatriated from Ukraine back here in Ghana in the Akufo-Addo era. But this is 50,000 we're talking about.
50,000, that's just across the border. You don't have to fly to Europe to get them back. That's the difference.
You find that a lot more affordable,
yes,
charitable for a government to be able to
do. It's not a matter of affordability, it's a matter of necessity.
Okay.
It's something that is required. These people require our help. These are our brothers and sisters over here. They require us to be up and doing to help them out in this situation.
If I
expect nothing less from the government.
If I find in the footage of NATMO and trucks, loading foodstuff, Red Cross Society, all the societies that
it's very good. In any sort of conflict situation, Red Cross always kicks in, and we are very grateful to them that they exist and they always kick into action. But that's not the bottom line. We don't want to see them in such a state. We expect an improvement in the lives. We expect to see a plan moving forward on how we're going to handle this situation. It's not as simple as sending a Red Cross over there. I don't think that's the expectation of the Ghanaian people.
Okay. Well, we're also joined by our next panelist, which I'll just be introducing shortly. We're joined by Honorable Dixon Cherdua, MP for Brekum West. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
So how's your week been so far?
It's been quite an eventful week.
You want to tell me about it?
Yeah, I was away for about 2 weeks in the United States of America for a very important cause for the good people of Bono region.
Okay.
The 3 regions in the Bono, that is the Bono, Ahafo, Bono East, there is not a single dialysis center within that enclave. And these 3 regions share boundary with Western North and Savannah. So 5 regions, the whole of that enclave, people with kidney-related problems have to travel all the way to either Kumasi or Accra to access dialysis healthcare. So the good people from that region living in the northern part of America, that is USA and Canada, organized an event. And I was privileged to be a co-guest speaker to raise funds for a dialysis center in Bono region. And it was highly, highly successful event, attended by the president of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Osaje Fosia, Dr. Ajimambadu II, Domahini himself. Right. But he donated $100,000 to support this cause.
He donated $100,000.
He was a special guest of honor. I was a co-guest speaker. Members of parliament from the region, traditional authorities, and all the key stakeholders were there.
So we are looking to see a dialysis center soon.
Exactly, in Sunyane. And let me use this opportunity to commend the leadership of Cubana. Cubana is the council of Bonon and Ahafo region citizens in the Northern America, Canada, and United States. And they did a very wonderful job. Touched down on Sunday and had a very sweet victory against Mali yesterday. I came a bit earlier than scheduled for this particular game. So let me use this opportunity to once again congratulate our gallant Black Stars for making us proud. 19 points from 8 matches. They've won 6, drawn 1, and just 1 loss in the qualifiers. And I think we should rather commend them. Their criticisms have been overboard, I must say. They've been very astounding up to this point.
Who are you talking about?
Black Stars, yes. If you play 8 matches, you win 6. Let me tell you, from football perspective and from football administrative perspective, you play 8 matches, you've won 6, you've drawn just 1, and lost 1. With 2 matches to go, you are leading the pack with 3 points. We need probably 1 win, 1 draw, and I'm very confident we're going to win the remaining matches. You know, the problem with a lot of people is that they want to see the Black Stars play beautiful football and win on top. But in football, the most important thing is the maximum 3 points, and they've been winning them sometimes in a very scrappy manner, like we got it yesterday. But I think that was better than playing good football and not winning. We started playing World Cup qualifiers in early 60 until 2006, 46 years later, that we made our maiden appearance in the World Cup. We were playing beautifully. They were calling us the Brazil of Africa, the Samba Soccer of Africa, but we were not able to qualify. So for me,
this means a lot.
Because I've been to all the previous World Cups. 2006, I was part of the Black Stars team. From the qualifiers to Germany, I was in South Africa, I was in Brazil, and 2022 in Qatar. And I'm looking forward to going to United States, Canada, and America. You know, let me tell you this. The Ghanaian residents I met in US, from Denver, Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, New York, the anticipation is so high. They're looking forward to welcome their heroes. And we cannot afford to miss this Mondial. So once again, our gallant Black Stars, we're very proud of you. You did the job yesterday. You ain't done yet. We're looking forward for another sweet win against Central African Republic and finish off on the 13th of October. So USA, Canada, Mexico, here we come. So I'm very excited because if we had not won yesterday, it would have been quite disappointing because my scheduled return was on 15th. And I had to cut that short to come and be part of this.
Welcome back.
Thank you
over
very
here,
much.
there's been so much in the news.
Anyway.
You must have heard that some persons have been displaced and they're seeking asylum or refuge in Cote d'Ivoire. Nearly 50,000 persons, Ghanaians over there. About 30 persons have also lost their lives in the Gbenyiri land dispute. That's one. 2, there's also our Minister for Communications as well, up in Amso, DSTV. There's so much to talk about over there as well. You must have heard that the USA has also withdrawn or put a halt on our MCC, Millennium Challenge Corporation as well, or the compact as well. So
this one, the takeover, what's going on between EMP and Azuma Resources? That's also a very interesting.
That's a very interesting one.
Brewing yesterday.
So since he just got back, I started off with these 3.
And I think a lot has also been going on within MPP regarding their primaries,
that's NPP.
The rising temperature.
That's NPP.
Between the camp of Dr. Baomia.
Okay. She's here, she'll confirm.
And the rest. So she's briefing me things that have transpired. And I think that's one of the most important issues. We also need to look at the ethnic politics being played and all those things. So all these things
We'll discuss. Let's start. Which one has? We have a lot of time today, but which one has your attention?
Well,
maybe something that's not even in
regarding the conflict.
Okay.
In the some parts of the country. In fact, I'm very much aware. My DC has briefed me. Even within my constituency, some people have sought refuge in Brekum West constituency. You know, Brekum West used to host one of the biggest refugee centers in Ghana. During the Côte d'Ivoire crisis, a lot of people sought refuge, and we have a huge refugee center over there. So Brekum West is affected. I was told 19 people have already come in, and the DC has arranged to get them a place. 19 are already in. So not only Côte d'Ivoire, there are a number who are internally displaced as well. So we will be pleading, as usual, with the feuding factions to exercise restraint and to allow peace to prevail. I don't think anybody would want to go through this. So it is something, once again, I want to call on the feuding factions to exercise restraint, let peace prevail, and let us get together as a country. You know, when one part of the country is in conflict, it affects the general development of the country.
Before your arrival, Doc was very vocal about a few things and quite obvious. So she thinks that as a country, we're well enough, we have enough capacity to at least take care of these displaced persons rather than keep them in Côte d'Ivoire. She as well thinks that she doesn't think that they're being taken care of the way they should be cared for. And case in point will be how the former, the current foreign minister at the time he was a ranking on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, how he dealt with and treated the students who were in the midst of the Russia-Ukraine war. What do you have to say to Doc?
The response is very simple. You know, people decide when they want to go in terms of conflict. That's what I said. Those who came to Bono region have been well accommodated. They've been well catered for, and resources have been put at their disposal to make them very comfortable. Plans are underway to integrate them. Some are students, and the assembly is ready to support them to go through their education. And I think these are some of the interventions we are expecting. And as usual, we'll be expecting more from the government to ensure that our compatriots who are going through this are not duly overstretched. So that's the point I will make for now. But I think the government will be very proactive to deal with the situation as it emerges.
Well, we're interested, and Doc, I'll let you come in if you have any responses to this. This Gbenyiri land dispute started with one person dying, 2, 3. Now we're counting to 30. Then we're counting to about 50 persons displaced. It's been some weeks. You as a government, do you think that, would you rate your government as doing quite well in curbing the situation? I acknowledge that yesterday, if as well you're not around, to update you that the Interior Minister as well inaugurated a committee to look into the disputes and as well recommend some solutions. Tell me, until this inauguration yesterday, this migration didn't start with 50, it started with 1, 2, 3, with persons as well dying. In weeks, did we not anticipate, because up north, the volatile situation should at least give us a first-hand, idea of how it can escalate to. Have we done well? Have you done well?
Yeah, I think the government is doing its best, and let us give peace chance. With the inauguration of the committee to deal with the matter, I'm very sure in the coming days, the matter will be put to rest. And, when it comes to conflict situations like this, the feuding parties themselves play a very important role in ensuring peace. That's why I keep appealing to them. It is a very sensitive, delicate issue. And I think the government is stepping in, and the government, with these interventions, we're going to see the end to the conflict.
You agree with calls by Doc and many others that why are they in Cote d'Ivoire? Can't we just provide some shelter for them here in Ghana?
It's early days yet. I think that's why I said some are being catered for internally, depending on where they find themselves. You know, in the midst of conflict, it is very, very difficult to gather the people into safety. People run on their own. And since that is very close to the Cote d'Ivoire border, people took advantage, went into the country. And I think plans are underway to properly account for all those who are displaced into Cote d'Ivoire, and they will be catered for. Internally, as I indicated, my constituency, my district, people who came in are well catered for, and they've been integrated into the society. Students amongst them are being supported to continue with their education. And I think it's early days yet, but in the coming days, we will see resolution to this crisis.
Okay. Doc, it's early days yet.
I didn't think the reset the NDC was talking about was to reset us back to a snail pace of dealing with such matters. I'm very grateful that you are taking care of some of these displaced Ghanaians in your constituency. You said the numbers were under 20. I don't remember the exact figure you gave.
Yeah, 19 came in, the
19.
number that came in.
That's very nice of you. But, you know, the government has a huge responsibility to tackle issues when they come. It's not good enough to say that people will migrate where they want. That is true. But I want to ask, how did you get the footage? Your
our reporters been on ground.
Multimedia reporters are able to go there and locate an encampment that has been formed by themselves, the refugees themselves. And I'm sure the benevolence of the Ivorians, they provided the tents, and like a small community has already been set up. And this has been going on for a while. In fact, it took a lot of advocacy on social media before the presidency even released the statement on this matter. So it is very clear that they've been quite slow to act. And it's quite surprising as well because it involves His Excellency the President, it involves the people of His Excellency the President. So I'd have expected some more action. And here I'm not going to belabor the point. We just expect action. We expect that the 50,000 Ghanaians that are in Ivory Coast are brought back. Indeed, you said there's a camp somewhere in your constituency. We know of so many camps. As I said, we've hosted so many of our neighbors here for long periods of time. So why is it that our own people that are fleeing from conflicts cannot be catered for internally? Why don't we create something for them here so that they are at home? You see, one of the problems that you face in a situation like this, the whole feeling of being in a different place could also have a great psychological toll on these people. It brings a lot of comfort to know that you are at home, you are amongst your people, you can still reach out to friends from other regions, and then you just have that connection of being at home, and it's very important. So no, I do not think that the government's approach to this crisis has been effective enough. I don't want to call it a dragging of feet, but I do expect to see some more action moving forward. It's not enough to set up a committee. We remember when the NDC government came into power, it didn't take long. They set up a flooding task force. I don't know what happened with that task force because we still see flooding. So there's no comfort that is provided by setting up a committee to indeed me and to the people of Ghana. All we expect is that we don't see these gruesome images on our screens going forward. Okay. Well, again, Doc, do you have DSTV at home? This DSTV matter, MFR. Do you have DSTV at home? I actually do not watch DSTV anymore. You don't anymore? Why? With the advent of Prime Video and Netflix and whatnot, I think it's just easier to do that. So I don't think we should ask Honorable because for a football lover, definitely you have DSTV. He has DSTV. Oh, yeah, sure. You do? Sure. Is it affordable or expensive?
It's quite expensive. You know, if you compare to the Nigeria, if you should put it, and other countries. If you go to United States and you paying for such subscriptions, UK, you're paying for Sky, compared to what we're paying here is very, very expensive. And I think the minister is right on his campaign to get DSTV to give us affordable prices. So it's quite expensive.
What do you make of the journey so far? The call for the reduction, I'll suspend your license, I will not suspend, I'll sit down for a stakeholder engagement. What has been going on so far? What would you say about?
I've always called for comprehensive dialogue. That's the way to go. I have always called for that. And I think the officials, management of DSTV are being a little bit difficult. You may not like the approach of the Honorable Minister, but the fact remains that they are charging us, and their charges are over the roof. And for that matter, they need to get the prices down. It's non-negotiable. That's number one. It's very important to establish that. And it is on that tangent that the minister has been pursuing this matter, that we need to get affordable prices for the DSTV. So it's quite unfortunate, the back and forth we're seeing and where the matters have been dragging to. But I think there should be an end in sight. There should be a resolution, and we should have lower prices. You know, it all boils down also to lack of competition in the system. If you have competitors who are ready to give lower rates, that will force DSTV to come down. So going forward, as we try to resolve this, I think we should create the environment to allow other players to also enter. I know in the past, few have tried, but they found it very, very difficult to penetrate. We should do a lot more to encourage, provide tax breaks, tax incentives, and enabling environment to get others in, so that when there is competition, I think prices will naturally fall into their places. That is the exact situation we are facing in my region. You know, there is only one internal airline that goes once a day, and sometimes you pay over 2,000, 2,300 just one way to go to Sunyani. And it is because there is no competition. You know, Accra, Kumasi, Accra, Tamale, sometimes 10 flights a day to Kumasi, and you can get better deals sometimes. But in my place, there is only one option for you if you don't want to drive.
But if there's no, is there a need for it? Is there a demand for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge demand. Huge demand. In fact, if you don't book, say, a week, 4 or 5 days earlier, you're not going to get it. Even at the exorbitant price you want to pay, you will still not get it. So it's important we introduce competitions into some of these services, and that will drive prices down for the benefit of our customers.
Is this just you overseeing? You know, let's not even digress from the conversation. Let's stay on the DSTV. I'll come to you, Doc. Have you followed the social media discourse? Many have said that it looks like our minister is only talking, but is not able to implement. Do you get that feeling too?
Not really. I don't get that. You also need to look at the interests of the people, you know. That's why continuous dialogue is key. If you crack the whip at this stage, I mean, a lot of people are going to lose out. So it's a very delicate situation, and I think parties should do more.
But if you follow the minister's press briefing, his statements and all that, he's very clear. There's no if it's was and buts. He's very straightforward. I will do this, I'll do that.
No, but there are negotiations also behind the scenes, which I'm very much aware, you know. So, but the DSTV has also taken a very, very tough stance. They've also come out on several occasions giving reasons why prices should stay as they are, and there's nothing they're going to do about it. Meanwhile, they are also talking behind the scenes. So let's wait and see how things play out. But I've indicated, one, we need DSTV. That's very important. 2, we need the services at an affordable price for everybody to assess. You know, for me, it is not a luxury. If you want to know what has happened globally, if you want to be part of the global village some of these services are necessities, not necessarily luxury. And for that matter, they should be made affordable for everybody to access them.
Okay.
Yeah, some regards from here. Georgia Marco says to tell you hi. Okay. Yeah, he's my dad.
Oh,
anyway,
yes.
He just said Stuttgart. I didn't know that was your name.
Yes. Yeah.
So that what's the name?
Stuttgart.
Stuttgart. Yeah.
Right. We'll keep that in mind.
Together. Then this.
Great.
Yes. I after I'm sure you can get to talk.
This means you'll be nice to him.
I'm being very nice. I'm being very nice this morning.
Except that she's taking advantage of the conflict situation.
No, really. I'm always the last to take advantage of conflict situations, but I think the images coming out of there are truly disheartening.
Really
and then I expect some more action, especially with all everything that we heard from your side. We expected more from you. I think the people of Ghana also expected more. And now to the issue of DSTV. I think the posture of the minister is truly one to move mountains for. I don't see how that brings any kind of resolution. One thing we have to know is DSTV is a product. Some might even consider it a luxury product. It's not a necessity. It's not something that you require. There are a lot of free-to-air channels, number one. Number two, it's obvious that they are not going to yield that easily. We are in a country where it's supposed to be a free market, if I'm not wrong. And especially from where I come from and from my political party, we believe in allowing the private sector to grow. So you don't stifle them with regulation. You don't do too much price regulation and intervention. You just allow the free market to operate. So indeed, the best solution would be to open up and allow competitors to come so that the prices will fall where they may. I think another mistake we make is this comparison with Nigeria. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million citizens, if I'm not wrong. I think it might even be a little more than that. So the pricing model or whatever their business plan in Nigeria, we cannot expect that it is the same here. So it's something that requires dialogue. It's not about writing a tweet that I'm taking your license tomorrow when you know well ensure that you cannot take their license tomorrow. They are a legitimate entity operating in this country, and unless you want to pay billions of dollars in mediation, you can't just take their license. So you'd sit them down, and I'm sure in DSTV's pricing model, there's an aspect of the pricing model that is in the control of the government, that we can look at that if we really want to do something about the prices. But if they are anything like me and you come to me fighting and trying to give me instructions as to what to do, I'm sorry, you have a very terrible fight, because that will also put me in a very defensive situation and then it becomes a fight. But if you approach this situation from a point of diplomacy, you know, your prices are quite high relative to other regions. I think that the people of Ghana, with respect to consumer protection, we have to do something about it. So how do we go about it? I think we would have benefited and would have seen much better results than this public feud that is playing out. And again, you cannot continue to compare it with Nigeria. The way things are and the cost of living indeed is quite different between Ghana and Nigeria. So you can't just juxtapose and expect that, okay, Nigerians are paying this much, so we want to pay this much. You have to ask what is going into your pricing model. In fact, how much is the government of Ghana, how much of the premium that we pay for DSTV is taxes as compared to Nigeria? These are all questions that we need to ask to be able to come to some kind of proper solution. But it's not again, I think sometimes the NDC get confused. It's not a military government anymore. We are a democracy. You can't
do we recognize really that the DSTV as an entity does not operate in the vacuum? Once you're operated in Ghana, you operate under
the laws. Exactly.
And even without the minister engaging stakeholderly, it can operate solely under NCA and what the NCA demands. And the NCA has got the sole mandate to regulate. And you see, if you look carefully at the laws in the SCA provision, it tells you when and how they can regulate. So if they wanted to go strictly by their NCA, they may not even have the stakeholder engagement.
NCA is obviously the regulator.
Absolutely.
But I don't know how much power the NCA has to regulate pricing in a free market.
Of course, whilst we recognize the free market, it says that if there's a single operator and it is dominating, the NCA can regulate it?
Yes, you can regulate to a point, through dialogue, because they have contracts. They've been operating in this country for about 30 years, if I'm not wrong. Multi-choice, isn't it? We've had a very long relationship with them. What kind of message are we even sending out to investors coming out of South Africa where multi-choice is from? You don't just use this approach, is what I'm saying. If NCA, and when you read the press releases from NCA, you can tell it has a different tone than the messages that come out from the Honorable Minister of Communication. So if NCA, as the regulator, decides that we have evidence that you are overcharging Ghanaians, it's a different matter. And then you can then dialogue them to do it. But at this point, is there any evidence that multi-choice is breaking the law of Ghana? If that was the case, don't you think the alliances would have been suspended long ago?
Well,
Doc, I think what we are talking about here, the minister is talking about, it's not about price parity with Nigeria. We're talking about pricing equity with Nigeria. You know, especially if what you are charging us here is about 3 times, 4 times what is paid in Nigeria for the premium, 2 times. Oh, yes. So, for instance, if Nigerians are paying, say, in dollar terms, let me put it, if they say maybe $100, we should be paying maybe $150, $120, but to the extent we're paying about $300 for similar services. That's what we are talking about. We believe in free market economy as well. But we also believe in ensuring that the customer gets
protected.
Gets a very good deal. You know, we're living in a country where, for instance, cement, the major component of cement, clinker, is imported in dollar terms. Duties are pegged in dollar terms, and dollar falls to around 11 cedis, duties come down, and prices of cement are going up. You begin to wonder, so when these things are happening, then you need to question. And that's why, as a minister, you have to intervene. I agree with you. It is about dialogue. It's about sitting around the table, get resolution. But the fact still remains that what is being charged here, it is not about their pricing model in Nigeria and the number of people who are accessing
more subscribers.
They all come into it. But as we are saying, we're talking about pricing.
Rule,
so there's a difference between
more
pricing, parity, and equity.
There's no. I think there's
the equity
okay.
Very
you land. I understand what you're saying, and we are not against consumer protection. I think, in fact, Ghana as a nation has to do more with consumer protection. My problem is the approach, and if you compare just on the face of it with Nigeria, you might be getting the modalities wrong.
Do you think that the minister used that approach at least to have an upper hand when they go into the negotiation
with Nigeria?
No, with DSTV. The posture, the tone, everything, because you must have a negotiating hand.
When you're going into a negotiation and you enter into it acrimoniously, you cause the person you are negotiating with to also come at you acrimoniously.
I think that...
I honestly think that it should always be a carrot first.
Before the stick?
Yes.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Carrot and stick approach, right? In the beginning, do you think that the minister was using the stick approach?
Yes.
I think that at the time that the CD was doing well, he just thought that, why not? The dollar to the CD rate is doing well.
Just as I said, multi-choice has been in this country for 30 years, okay? So if they understand that the volatility of our currency, the time that they came into government, it was a fresh government, things had changed. They were eager to prove to the people of Ghana that they didn't scam their way into government, which is becoming more and more obvious now. But at that point, there was a depreciation and then the CD was doing better. Most people in business were very much aware that they needed to be conservative and they needed to observe the markets before making decisions. Because just imagine, today now the dollar is now 13 or so. So if they were forced at that point to make pricing decisions, where would they be now?
The dollar 13?
Yes, the dollar is, well, if you are going to an abochi, it's about 13.
Why would you want to go to an abochi?
No, are you able to get the dollar from the bank? MFA, personally, I'm never able to. It's hell to try and get dollars from the bank.
In recent days?
So you will go to the Forex
In recent days?
I mean, yes, the whole year. So you go to a forex bureau to try and change the money, and I can tell you get about 13. So let's call it 12, 13. When he was putting out those threats, Bank of Ghana was putting out the dollar at 10. So were they supposed to make those decisions based on the 10? As a company, just think about it. If you were multi-choice or multimedia was multi-choice and the government comes to you, the minister comes to you that today the dollar is 10. You have been in this country for 30 years, so you know that today it can be 10 and it will go up and down and blah, blah. And he wants to force you to make decisions based on the dollar at 10. As a company that has had the resilience to survive in this country for 30 years, will you yield based on that point? No. So that's
my colleague reporters, including myself, at the time that the dollar purported to be doing well, according to Bloomberg and all other rating,
now apparently it's the worst performing.
According to Bloomberg.
Yes.
Bloomberg report.
So that is lower than what you left us.
We left you first.
If you go to Abosokai, the traders over there, even Guta, their umbrella association said, if you speak to the traders, they say that, well, we recognize that the dollar is doing well, but our stock that we have is an old stock, so we want to sell it a bit, we want to observe a little bit.
Yes.
I do not see in any of the multi-choices responses that suggested that we're even considering it, we're even looking at it.
I saw
which aggravated the minister.
Press statement from them. I don't know if it was recent or an old one. They were saying that they were going to upgrade. So if you're on Compact, they will upgrade you to Compact Plus. If you paid for Compact Plus, they will upgrade you. I saw that. So I don't know if
that was the
yes,
DSTV.
He's the DSTV. Yeah, I saw a press release from them. See, my point is I am not against this whole trying to get DSTV prices down. But I can tell you this approach by the minister is not really going to yield the results.
And the approach by DSTV, multi-choice, their responses?
I think multi-choice, they might be quite sure that the minister doesn't have enough he doesn't have enough bites behind.
Beyond the minister, what's to the people of Ghana as well? Who are their main consumers?
See, it is like...
The statement is usually not to the minister personally. It's not an email, an exchange.
Oh, but you know, the way the minister has made this issue, it is now between both of them. Don't even get it mistaken.
It's between us.
Yes, it's supposed to be between us. But because of the actions of the minister, it can easily be misconstrued as Honorable Sam George versus multi-choice and not the people of Ghana. So to me, if you are working in the best interest of the people, the first thing you do is to try and see what goes into it. If you want to just use the exchange rate, you're not going to have a very good conversation.
But tell me, which other ways can the minister suggest reduction? Which other ways?
The tax component. Why can't the government be the one to take something back? The tax component of it. And then if you see that in their pricing model, they are making too much the margins here are way higher than Nigeria, then we can have a conversation.
That's exactly what is going on.
If we can be sure that the margins here are way higher than, maybe the margin here is like 100% and Nigeria is 50%, even then they can make an argument to you that maybe the subscriber base in Nigeria is like ×3, so it evens out.
Look,
honestly, it's a long discussion.
I'm struggling to come to terms why you have chosen to defend
I'm not defending. I'm not defending.
Being their spokesperson at the
No. I don't think you are being fair to me.
You see, MTN, also from South Africa, has been operating in this country for a considerable number of years, operating under the same ministries. Honorable Sam George is the minister, under the same agency, NCA. And there's not been any problems with MTN. Have you seen Sam George in any...
Oh, in fact, I have a personal problem with MTN. We will come there. I think this fight should be on data.
But the previous government, there were almost an attempt to say that MTN was operating on a monopoly.
Yes. So if it's MTN, in fact, the conversation will be a little different for me this morning because I don't understand what's going on with their data bundles of now. Right now, you buy it and it's flying out, and the minister is telling us to check our settings. Anyway, that's a different conversation. I'm not in any way speaking for multi-choice.
Because you are not
I am only saying that this approach is not going to yield the results that will be in the best interest of the Ghanaian people. It's going to be a back and forth. He said he was going to withdraw the license on Saturday or so, did he not? But I'm sure you watched the match. If you didn't watch it from the stadium, you watched it on your DSTV decoder.
I watched it on the stadium.
Meaning it hasn't been... DSTV.
I mean, of course, because NCA then issued a statement that there was going to be a stakeholder engagement yesterday, and they were going to update us.
Exactly, but the approach, even when NCA issues a letter, the tone is a little better.
Are you sure?
Yes. I saw that they are going to sit down and have a stakeholder engagement.
This is from NCA.
Was it 8th? But 8th was yesterday, no?
Yeah, yesterday.
So they should
NCA
have had this stakeholder engagement yesterday, right? I think the date that I saw on there was 8th. I would have to check again. So we expect to see something there. Here now, premium is 800 or so. So I think it's about 800, which is a lot. But I remember when I had DSC, it was like 400. That's, you know, it's almost 100% increase. Understandable that consumer protection has to come in to bring it down. But it's the approach. Sometimes diplomacy works.
Talking about the approach, but you don't know the number of behind-the-scenes engagements.
Of course, we will not be privy to that.
St. George
all we see are the tweets with Jatta on it.
This issue has been on the front burner for some of us over the years. The exorbitant charges from DSTV didn't start from today. We've been complaining over the years, and it's come to a point the issue has to be confronted head-on. That's why you don't know the number of behind-the-scenes engagement St. George had with the management of DSTV before coming out. So we don't have to.
Have you been following his tweets? No, I'm not blaming him. I'm hoping that the best comes out of this.
Honorable St. George is such a passionate guy with a lot of drive in what he believes in. So sometimes you may misconstrue his approach to be maybe being confrontational, but it's about the passion and the drive to get this resolved. That's why you see him quite often coming out on these issues. But beyond this, there's been a lot of behind-the-scenes engagement, and I'm very confident the issue will be resolved. And we want to see a resolution that comes with reduction in prices. That is non-negotiable. Nothing can be resolved without having the prices down. They are
it's only on that note that we can agree
with that. And in fact, that has been St. George's position. You talk about negotiation, sit around the table, you finish, and prices are maintained. No. So that has to be, in fact, asserted that we're looking for price reductions in all the categories. And that's where St. George is coming from. And our friends on the other side think no. So there should be some mediation to resolve, but it should be resolved in favor of price reduction.
Yes, I think it's clear that everybody wants price reduction, but we also have to be very cognizant of the fact that everybody is watching. The world is watching. And if in tune with your own government's agenda of saying that the country is very welcome for investment, we don't want to create the impression that, you know, that's the kind of business environment you face when you come into government, into this country.
So it's
a balance.
What kind of business environment? That your expensive, reduce it.
No, there's going to be some kind of tussle over, you are not going to be given the room to operate. We don't need to create that impression. That's what I'm saying. So it's a very delicate balance. Ghanaians and consumers require some reduction. Consumer protection has to happen. But you cannot create the impression that you do not allow a free market.
Because do you get what she means?
You are trying to invite investors.
She's already espoused the opposition as believers in free market economy, each one for himself, God for us all. But we, as social democrats, we believe in egalitarian treatment of all persons, equity. So we believe in business growth, we believe in profit making, but we also believe in consumer protection. So that is the balancing act St. George is playing here to ensure businesses thrive, to ensure we create an enabling environment for private sector to thrive, but at the same time, protect Ghanaians against such exorbitant prices. So consumer protection is very important here. So it is the balancing act he's playing, and I think at the end of the day, Ghanaians will get a better deal out of this.
we are watching.
If the dollar was doing well and then it was increased, would you feel that's fair? Because earlier this year, when the dollar was doing well, DSTV still increased by 15%.
Yes, I saw that tweet by the minister that when the dollar was doing well, they increased by 15%.
What was that?
So he expects. No, I don't speak for MultiChoice. We would have to call them. He expects that now it is reduced by 30%. I think
because you take the 15 that you already put on, then the existing high price that the consumers have been complaining about, you take another 15.
So again, we have to ask them what went into them increasing by 15%, because I don't think the only variable that goes into their pricing is the currency. And, you know, we cannot forget the fact that MultiChoice employs a lot of Ghanaians. It's not like some foreign company that operates from outside the country. They have a lot of offices here. They have a lot of Ghanaian employees. So when we are dealing with them, it's important that we look at the whole thing situated in a very large context. They employ a lot of people. They are paying them well. We don't know what's going on with their pricing. So again, nobody is against this acts of consumer protection that is going on at all. But we just wish it didn't play out like this, like a tussle between MultiChoice and our Minister of Communication, because indeed the optics are not so bright if you are an investor coming in and you are seeing this tussle.
Okay.
Yeah, let me say this. You know, one important reason some judges embarking on this crusade, if I should put it, is that at the moment, a good number of Ghanaians, I cannot put data on it, but I would not be surprised if about 50% of Ghanaian subscribers are subscribing from Nigeria. Are you aware of that? Well, people denying this country that needed tax. We need to build this country.
Many stakeholders have said
the price difference is so huge. People are now resorting to subscribing from Nigerian channel, and for that matter, they are now evading tax. They are not paying taxes to Ghana. They're paying it to Nigeria. If you ask them, they say the prices are far, far cheaper. So by driving the prices downwards, that will encourage Ghanaians to subscribe here, and some taxes will be accrued for Ghana. So what it's doing, apart from protecting the interests of the consumer, is also looking at raking in taxes for the building of this country. So it is a cause we should all support as Ghanaians.
Oh, I think we've had support from across the aisle on this matter. Everybody wants to pay less.
But it appears you are serious defensive.
No. On the approach, because I don't think it is going to yield the necessary results. So this is not from a place of unnecessary criticism. It's that I don't think this is what we need to be seeing with regards to a company that's investing in the country and our minister. Not that we're against the reduction of DSTV price. I think, indeed, if you go on social media, you see that he has actually got support from across the political divide on the need for prices of DSTV to be reduced. What we don't like to see is what is beginning to turn into that, oh, tomorrow I'm taking your license. Then MultiChoice says they've agreed to reduce. MultiChoice says I haven't agreed to reduce. You see, the back and forth is the problem that is making us question, is this approach an approach that is working for the people of Ghana, or is it becoming a matter of a fight of egos?
Okay. Honorable, have you heard about the arrest of the popular Abronye?
Yeah, from my region.
From your region. What can you tell us about it?
Is a very interesting politician. He assumed reins of power before 2020 elections as the regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party. At the time he came to office, we NDC in the region were having only one member of parliament out of the 12 constituencies in the region. In 2020, we increased it to 6 out of 12. Now, his second term in office, we increased our stock from 6 to 11. So, as I speak here, as the chairman of the region, he's lost grounds to NDC, losing 10 more seats since he took over power in the region. And we know he's an eccentric politician, and he is a very, very interesting character. So yesterday I learned of his arrest, by the authorities. I don't know specifically what he's been picked for, but he's known for his vitriolic attacks on political opponents, especially on the person of President Mahama, several high political personalities. In this particular instance, I don't know what offense is committed. And in the last few days, we also are aware of headlines he's been making regarding seeking asylum from a number of countries for fear of his own security and the rest. What I want to say about my very good friend Abronye is that as young politicians, we should be very decorous, engage in constructive criticisms, and be very, very, very much interested in the development of the country. Politics of division, politics of insult should be discouraged. But let me place on record here that if Abronye has enemies in the country, politically, it is from his own party, because in the last few months, we are all aware of the attacks and counter-attacks from the camp of my very good friend Abronye, the camp of the former vice president, and the rest. So my passionate appeal to him is that he should exercise restraint, undertake his discourse without insults, without any vilifications, and I think that will do him very well. So he's indeed a very controversial character, and some of us would want to see him retaining his seat as the regional chairman of Bono going into 2028 elections. I told you earlier on, when he came in, we were having only one seat in the region. We've managed to climb to 11. So maybe in 2028 with him, who knows? The only one left may be taken. So that is what I know about this very gentleman.
So prior to his arrest, did you know that he was seeking asylum in other countries?
Yes,
and how serious
he had been invited by the police CID to present himself for questioning or an interview on Monday. So it was on the back of that that he sought asylum, because it's quite obvious that the NDC government, even though when they were in opposition, they accused everybody, and they went as far as accusing the then Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government as perpetuating a culture of silence. But it's in their administration that we are seeing the true culture of silence. So far, so many people have been arrested for very, very minute things, for hosting TikTok lives, for comments they've made on TikTok and such. So it's not surprising that Chairman Abronye has had to suffer this fate. It is, however, an affront to our democracy, because I think before you arrived, I was explaining to MFI and our viewers that not only has he been detained, he's beginning to look like an unlawful detention, because we don't know what charges he's being detained on. He hasn't had access to his lawyers since he left the police CID. In fact, they don't even know where he's being held. And what is Chairman Abronye's offense? I think that's the question on the minds of every Ghanaian. Is it for speaking his mind? We are in this country when an assign of the NDC, Kevin Taylor, if I remember carefully, was smuggled into this country by the NDC government, and he just went about his business. And if I personally just make a point not to listen to him. But for those that listen to him, the commentary coming out of there is very much against everything Honorable has said here. And then on that note, I actually agree with him. I think politics should be a conversation about ideas. We should be able to come and sit here and espouse our views, smile, go, and then get on with our business. It shouldn't be about insults. But you cannot harbor so many of them who do that on a daily basis and then be so much against criticism. We were here when one social media activist was also picked up, say Obama, and it was also in line. Most people, the speculation was that it was because he had been criticizing the IGP. And it does look like Chairman Abronye had also in the past been criticizing the IGP. In fact, I think he believes that that's the reason why he was picked up, because of his criticism of the IGP and indeed the government and His Excellency President Mahama. I don't know what kind of democracy we are running where people shouldn't be allowed to say what they say. As I said, I'm very much against some of the vile language that comes out of politics, and I think it should not be countenanced. But again, you cannot criminalize it and treat somebody like a hardened criminal, a murderer, an armed robber because of something they said. It's not been too long since we went for the Akwatia by-election, where we had an executive of the NDC boldly coming out to threaten the lives of the Honorable Minority Leader, the Honorable Chief Whip, and I think another member another leading member of the MPP. It was covered on video. I think you've even had the video and you've played it.
Police is investigating.
That's a threat. What's other? You saw the person that issued the threats, and it's taking you so long, but it's been so easy for you to go and pick up Abronye. And it wasn't just that. Abronye walked into the police CID himself on Monday, but on Sunday there was a raid on the house of I think our Greater Accra youth organizer. And I mean, is this really what we voted you into power for? I would agree that no, that's not the point. That's not why Ghanaians voted you into power. You've been in government for 8 months, and your 24-hour economy, we haven't seen it. We were told 1 job, 3 shifts. I don't know when that's going to start. I don't know when the people of Ghana are going to benefit from the millions of jobs you promised them. We are not seeing any progress with that. Yesterday, I saw a release from ECG with regards to an unprecedented hike in the prices of one of the components that go into buying our energy. So I think these are things that the government should be more focused on. Indeed, we've spoken about the crisis in the Savannah region. We know about what's going on in Boko, but it does seem that the government and the security apparatus are more interested in picking up people in the opposition party that make comments that they don't like. And if you're a Ghanaian and you've been in this country for the past 8 years and listened to some of the things that members of the NDC said about members of the MPP, you'll be very surprised. So it's like we don't have blood running through our veins. We are not human.
I definitely think that you have blood.
No, like we're not human beings. We shouldn't be able to.
It's quite a developing story.
Yeah, we shouldn't be able to.
We'll just go for it.
We should be able to take the criticism and not do anything.
I agree.
But they shouldn't be. They don't have any right.
Stay with me. There's more on the show. Thank you for staying with us here. It is the AM show. Time now for the big stories. Now, in search for peace, government inaugurates committee to broker peace among feuding factions that has left over 30 people dead, settlements plundered, and over 50,000 displaced in Gbenyiri in the Sawla-Tuna-Kalba District of the Savannah Region as the nation races against time to contain a humanitarian crisis. The question is, what must we give to restore peace in Gbenyiri and its environs? And joining us via Zoom is Mr. Emmanuel Bombade, peace-building expert, and as well Salisu Awurbe, Savannah Regional Minister. Thank you for joining us this morning, as well Momoni Somalia, Red Cross Director, Savannah Region. And a little later, we shall touch base with our Savannah Regional Correspondent, Isaac Nonya, to give us an update. And then let me start with you, Mr. Bombade. Thank you for joining us this morning. Tell me, on the face of it, what makes this particular conflict a complex one?
First of all, you have to appreciate, and let me greet you and greet your viewers. We would have to appreciate that in a conflict where a community truly is together in terms of sharing the same space, such as in the Savannah region, and here we're talking about market spaces, we are talking about the health facilities, we are talking about a true integration of what you can call a community that now splits, beginning with a conflict that at a smaller scale is literally between two people, but because of underlining what you would call issues that for long are often not talked about in terms of the relationships of the various communities who must coexist peacefully. The potential for a spread and for what you saw now happening in terms of the escalated level of the violence and the destruction it caused is what makes it complex. The complexity here is about how we are constantly aware that for peaceful coexistence in Ghana, we are different communities in terms of our ethnicities, in terms of our religions, in terms of cultural attributes and backgrounds. And how we forge this into a social cohesion is in itself an everyday ongoing task that sometimes we are not paying attention to and we take our peace for granted. And so when you look at it that way, it is in what appears to be a simple human demand for respect, dignity to one another. When that is kind of disrupted, that you have the type of social disorganization that can lead to the type of violence. And you can see it manifested in separation. It's like we would walk away from each other. And we need to work together as a country and in solidarity with our compatriots to mend the broken fences and to re-establish the peace and reconciliation that is so needed.
I mean, from your expert point of view, when this started from 1, 2, 3, did you anticipate that it will escalate to these numbers at all within the time frame?
No. And keep in mind that when it started, you could appreciate the as you use the word complex, you could acknowledge that its complexity based on what I have described as issues that need to be talked about that are not often talked about, and that because of the nature of the conflict at a small and a much smaller scale, one did not expect that it would kind of explode to the point of fatalities that we saw. But even in addition to the fatalities, the movements that included the displaced, but also the refugees across borders. So my response to you is we could not have foreseen that this would escalate to the level that it did.
Okay, and please stay with me. When I come back to you, we shall talk extensively about the committee that's set up. Would you say that has been duly represented? I see that yesterday you were calling for civil societies as well to get on board. We'll come into that. And please stay with me. Let me come to you, Mr. Sumaila. As a Red Cross director in the Savannah region, how would you describe the situation currently as at hand?
Yeah, good morning, sister. Actually, the situation on the ground about this conflict is actually people were not thinking this number that display will occur. And actually, the reason is that we were thinking that it is going to be a mile when the whole thing started. But before we realized the display number was huge. So that is what now the Red Cross actually intervened.
Okay. Currently, what are you particularly dealing with beyond you saying that the number is huge? What are you currently dealing with? Paint a picture for me.
We are dealing with the people. We are able to provide them the shelter with NADMO intervention. We are able to give them shelter, the DCE and whatever. They are also supporting us. And we are supporting the people with feeding and then clothing and whatever at the camp. But my problem is that we still have people who are at Bunkore. That is, they have crossed over the border. Currently, we are thinking of how to evacuate those people to the camp.
What's the challenge?
The challenge is the means of transport that we can use to bring them back, because some of them over there cannot even afford even 10 cities to even border a car and come. And most of them are hearing that our camp there, because I was there to interview some of them. They are interested in coming to the camp, but there is no funds for them to travel to the camp.
What numbers are we looking at?
I've talked this with the minister. I think the minister is working over this issue so that we'll be able to evacuate those people to the campsite.
Okay. What numbers are we looking at? Do you have an estimated number of persons we're dealing with?
Yes, because the whole total number was 48,051, but it continued at the most of them continue to reduce.
Okay.
Currently, as I'm telling you, in the camp itself, we are dealing with communities. We go into the communities to give them the support and everything. But those at the camp now has now reduced to almost about 866.
Okay. Okay. Stay with me, and I'm happy that you said you have engaged the minister on this and you're making arrangements for that. But let me go back to the chair of the committee, Mr. Bombadi. You have heard what the Red Cross director has just been telling us this morning, as well up until the inauguration yesterday and this morning. Is this something you expected to hear?
We expected to hear the difficulty of the return of refugees and displaced people. And the minister did indicate that whereas we saw some of them returning, what my good friend Mohammed is saying is true in the sense that logistics could be a hindrance, but another could be the fear of what awaits them when they return. And so the camp now presents itself as a secured environment. The minister is working literally as we speak to be able to ensure that no logistics should be the obstacle to the return of the refugees and the displaced people. And so it's good Mohammed is bringing this up. Our committee in its mandate is working with the minister, and we'll be flagging this today as the minister is looking at supporting on the ground the Red Cross and other partners to speedily accelerate the return. Because the return of these refugees in itself, we think would build the initial confidence that now makes it possible, for people to be invested in talking deeply about the issues that led to this unfortunate tragedy. Okay. Because we cannot be in a process of dialogue when people are displaced and when people are spread across in ways that does not give us a good language of the willingness to return to what we would describe as the intercommunal dialogue that can build peace. And so I have taken note of that, and we are meeting soon to continue our planning, and we will be urging the minister, working with Mohammed and his colleagues, to accelerate this return.
Okay, please help me understand. If I understand, Mr. Sumaila means that there are some persons who are happy to go to the camp, but are unable to go to the camp. But if I understand you, you'd rather the displaced persons are brought back into the country. Just clarity on this.
Yeah, so the objective is that displaced people, whether within the country or refugees who cross the border, should feel safe and secure to come back to their communities. So that's the overall objective. But we have to fully appreciate that whilst we work towards that, the receptacle at this point to provide humanitarian aid, to provide support, would be in the camp for those who cannot easily get back right into their homes and into their communities. So the first stop would be, how do we support the Red Cross and partners, at least for the type of assistance that can be provided to evacuate all of them back. Now, as they come back, some of them would be going back into their homes, others would be in the camp. But ultimately, the camp is only temporal. We want to be able to now see a situation in which they leave the camps and they are back into their communities and integrated in a peaceful environment for coexistence as they used to.
Okay.
So that working with the military, working with all the partners, we should see that to be the process as we are going forward.
Okay. Well, until then, what kind of security measures, interim security measures, would you require should be put in place?
So first of all, it's the peacekeeping duties that you see led by the police, supported by the military, in which everybody feels secured in terms of the guarantee provided by the state. And when we look at the numbers of women who appeared helpless and had to move for safety, to make sure that all these people can be assured that, do not worry, back at home, the state, through its security agencies, are present on the ground, and you will be protected to start your life from where you left. And that is the type of security that begins to create an environment that, with the protection of all people, we then have the environment to deepen the processes that can lead us to look at the issues that are at the root of what happens and how then we address that. And when I say we, the community owning it, and we are facilitating and supporting them to now identify the grievances and disagreements that led to violence, and keep in our mind that the coexistence we are looking for is not just about the return to peace, but the return to the type of peace that can be sustainable, because they themselves together will, in my view, be the owners of what now can be supported so that they can coexist. The good thing is the traditional rulers and the elders from all the communities, with the blessing of the overlord, the Yogbonwura, is ensuring that this happens, and the brick building at that level has begun. And so we see it permeating downwards into the communities, and the process should unfold. We are hoping so.
Well, again, Mr. Bombadi, if you just kindly stay with me, let me go to the Savannah Regional Minister, Salisu Be. Thank you for joining us this morning. For you as a regional minister, as of this morning, how will you describe the situation? Is it calm? Is it overwhelming?
In fact, for well over a week now, the place has been very calm. We are not recording any incident whatsoever. And indeed, the various people who hitherto deserted their communities, some of them are gradually returning. And this actually was facilitated when the P4 leadership, led by their youth association leadership and then their council of elders, called on the Yebunra, and the Yebunra actually made one of his paramount chiefs, the Damagora, and some other leaders to meet them. And they actually requested for an opportunity for the young children and the women who hitherto deserted their communities, for them to be integrated and returned. And it was granted that kind of agreement was accepted. And the people have been returning, albeit on a piecemeal base. Well, we are hoping and praying that the proposed meeting again with the king himself and his paramount chiefs, with the leadership of the P4 Youth Association and the rest, would further brighten that opportunity and restore the level of confidence and trust which hitherto existed until it was broken through this unfortunate situation.
What role would
I can tell you for sure that the place is very calm.
Okay.
As we speak.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention. What role would this particular meeting with the king play or feed in the just inaugurated committee by the Interior Minister yesterday?
Yes. The underlying causes of such a situation may be the major issues that the committee, which has been inaugurated, will be looking at. Obviously, if you look at the trigger of this unfortunate situation, a small parcel of land, not up to a quarter of a plot, is the trigger. But when situations of this sort happen, there may be some underlying tensions or emotions or mistrust or feelings and the rest, to which on the surface of it you might not get to know. So I'm sure when the committee come and start their work, they may be able to unearth all the issues surrounding that. And with respect to the ownership of the land, my basic interaction with everybody and my own understanding is that the entirety of the Savannah region, no inch of land is outside the control of the Gbenyiri as the allodial title holder. And the Gbenyiri is represented at all areas by his paramount chiefs and various elders at various levels. So if there's ownership of land, most of the leadership of the people have actually informed me that they don't have any right or they don't have any ownership of any parcel of land whatsoever, unless and until a person who acquired that land through the chiefs. So if there is an issue of that at Gbenyiri, which might have, or it will mean that there may be some actions of somebody or a group of people or something that's causing some mistrust or kind of a situation that the people might be leading to this unfortunate situation. So this is the situation that we have. So I'm very pretty sure that the committee will be able to unearth all the nuances which exist. And our aim is not to just cure this issue of Gbenyiri, but to also bring up certain things that will help us be able to work at those issues into the future and for us not to get any recurrence of a situation of this sort forever.
Okay.
This is our plea.
So currently for the displaced persons in Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire, you'd confirm that they're about how many?
Pardon me?
You'd confirm that how many people have been displaced now, currently?
The Ivorian people recorded 13,000 plus when I visited them. And the 13,000 plus people are in 12 communities along the Black Volta, which invariably is served as the western end boundary of Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire. And the people at the fringes more or less speak the same language, either on the Ivorian section or on the Ghanaian section, because the Brefo, Meo, Lobi are along that corridor. Okay. So that is the probable issue with regards to that. But we are working around and working in collaboration with the Ivorian authorities.
Are they well cared for? Are they well cared for? Would you say that the government is responding well enough?
Very much so. Very much so. And indeed, we are doing everything, and the Ivorian authorities are complementing our efforts.
Okay. Please, if you can, just stay with me. Let me come back to you, Mr. Bombadi. You have listened to the Savannah Regional Minister. These are the numbers that we're dealing with, 13,000 plus, maybe, as of the time that he visited. He also mentioned that there is the traditional leadership as well having a meeting. Is this something you look forward to as a committee, and how well would it help with your mediation?
Yes, so absolutely. As the regional minister has put his finger on the issue, the traditional leadership under the overlord, the Gbenyiri, brings together all the communities to be able to see themselves coexisting. And to that extent, as the minister explained, a dispute over a parcel of land that kind of grew bigger into the situation of violence might only be an indication of other layers of issues that include the type of suspicions and mistrust in human relationships and behavior of different groups. And that's why the effort is intracommunal. But it is not to say that there is a major land dispute about having any doubt about ownership in terms of alludial ownership. Now, if we were to start from there, we want to go as deep as we can with the communities themselves being at the center of unearthing what is it that went wrong in your community. And so if I were to use the word strategy, is how we are facilitating that conversation because they have to coexist among themselves on the ground. And when they do that, everybody else, led by government, and the president himself, preoccupied by the return to peace as a community of people who have always coexisted and have then traded and done a lot of commercial activity among themselves, we can see then a return to that. And so you are talking about what basically the regional minister has summarized to be a very good basis of the cooperation that has begun. And I would then add on to that, it is adding to the safe spaces that we must create, because for people to be willing to talk deeply on issues that have separated them, you have to create those safe spaces. And we are hoping that this week and in the days coming, we'll be able to do that for the genuine and meaningful dialogue to happen, so that there can be guarantees of reducing the mistrust and the distrust, and people can begin to feel comfortable that a new interaction of the communities will begin.
Right. Where would you start from, especially because the minister yesterday stressed impartiality and inclusiveness when he inaugurated this? Where will you start from? Where are you starting?
So we've been talking since our inauguration on designing that roadmap, designing that process of how we engage. And so at this point of our conversation this morning, I cannot give you those details. But one thing I can assure you is it has to be inclusive, but we have a very good understanding that what is happening is the different levels of organized groups that help already. For example, you have youth associations. So we talked about the traditional level. You have youth associations. You have actually women groups and associations that are formal. So all this brings us into that inclusive process in which the women are going to be actively involved, the youth groups will be actively involved, all the respected elders and chiefs will be actively involved, supported by the regional minister and his team, and obviously the Minister for Interior, to facilitate how our committee can be able to coordinate and bring together what needs to be done for the deep-rooted issues through dialogue to emerge, and for us to take good note of each of them. And the issue now would be to be faithful and diligent in working to support the communities to implement the outcomes of their own conversations.
Is 30 days enough? Is 30 days enough?
So let's appreciate that we have 30 days to work with, and we're going to do our best and see what comes at the end of that.
Right.
I think the good news is the assurance of the regional minister that no incident has since happened over the past week to keep us on edge. And let me say this, that is important, because the challenge is when in violence, lives are lost. You can begin to repair the damage in infrastructure, the return of refugees and the rest of it, but you cannot bring back life. And so how do we see healing and reconciliation taking place with a dignified manner to reach out to one another and even mourn the dead and give them a befitting passage as part of the effort? And all this, I believe, will contribute to what we are looking for, a return to sustainable peace.
Well, thank you so much. It was just yesterday the committee was inaugurated. We shall be following and reporting as such. We've been joined by Emmanuel Bombardier, peace building expert, and as well Mumuni Samaila, Red Cross Director, Savannah Region, and as well Salisu Aweribi, Savannah Regional Minister. We'll be back with more on the show. Please stay. Watching the AM show now. Ghana no longer eligible to receive foreign assistance from the United States under the Millennium Challenge Compact amid debt disputes A look at the international politics and the diplomatic role, plus the impact on Ghana's development agenda. And joining me in studio is Dr. Nanaya Omriku, international relations expert. Doc, thank you for making it into the studio this morning. So for many people or for viewers watching today, let us understand really, or how can you explain in very plain terms what it means for Ghana not to be receiving under the MCC?
Right. Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. Ghana is not being in the good books of US in this Donald Trump second administration. And I wouldn't want to say it's just peculiar to Ghana. Ghana is not an outlier because we see a Trump administration that is really resetting, recalibrating US's foreign policy and selling it out there. And so the US that we used to consider it as a charitable state, you know, is no longer playing that ball again because the president is seeking to doing things differently. And so if you look at the things that very close allies to the US have all been slapped with these kind of tariffs or fines one way or the other. Canada is taking its own share, Japan, even the European Union. What is happening in the US now, in particular reference to Ghana, is not anything so peculiar. You would recall that the US aid that gives Ghana an amount to the tune of $160 million has also been taken off, the table. Ghana used to enjoy what you call AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which allowed Ghana and some other African countries to send goods to the US, with no tariffs or with a very, least amount of tariffs. With this 10% and then 15% slap of tariff on Ghana, it means that we are no longer enjoying that kind of, economic privilege. Now, the Millennium Challenge Compact. So in US, we have what we call Presidential Initiative Development Programs. So every president that comes has his own initiative program. So it was under President Clinton that AGOA came into being. Under President Bush, we had what they call the Millennium Challenge Compact and then what we call PEPFAR, Presidential Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. Now, with the coming of President Trump, he initiated what we call Building Better Under Utilization of Resources. What Trump is doing is seeking to recalibrate US's foreign policy from aid to trade.
Okay. And
so anything that is serving as a choke on US's coffers, Trump is seeking to release that and then return those monies into developing US. And so US aid, for instance, was considered as something that is putting a stranglehold on US's, budgetary expenditure. And so taking those monies and investing it in the United States. The idea with the Millennium Challenge Compact, which was the implementation started in 2006 to 2012. That was the first compact when President Kufuor was the president. And we saw a number of initiative or development projects take place under the MCCs in terms of infrastructure, in terms of energy, in terms of transportation, in terms of health. These are monies that go into these sections. The second chunk of it was supposed to be disbursed between 2016 to 2022. And the current one that we are expecting is what the Trump administration is saying that Ghana is going to be taken off that list. And a substantial amount of money. Right. It runs into $400 million of dollars. The idea is that, according to what we are learning, the Trump administration believes that Ghana is defaulting on some debt or loans that we owe American businesses in the country and some bilateral financial arrangement. And so if we are going through debt structure and we are making some interest on the revenues that we are generating, then they are better off diverting those MCCs that they give to us into other areas. And so because of these things, because of these debts that are owed American businesses and because of these financial arrangement between us and US that we are not obligating, they are truncating these MCCs to Ghana. And so there are a lot of, these are huge amounts of money, considering that US aid is no longer coming, and considering that this is also taken off the table. It's really a big deal for the country. So, this is just a brief...
It's good that you are giving a bit more, some plain explanation to it. Now, under the U.S. law, especially 7012, does it hinge on this aid under the Millennium Challenge Compact? Does it hinge on some conditions, like the debt restructuring, or every president comes and then they impute their own conditions on it?
So, it's a president's special initiative, right? It is not something approved by Congress.
Okay.
It is usually, and that is why it is very easy for President Trump to not to follow through with it. There's an executive order, and that is it. Except that it has been part of U.S.'s soft power. So every state or every president that comes into the Oval Office try as much as possible to modify it, but keep the course running. But we are seeing a president that has a different policy or a foreign policy orientation altogether. It's all about making America great again. And so he is saying that this time around, I'm not going to dish out resources to countries like other presidents, used to do. I'd rather invest these monies back into the country, into U.S. And there are a lot of people that are saying that what is happening to Ghana now, and I beg to differ, is because of the diplomatic public outburst between our foreign minister and then the U.S. Republican Senate, Jim Risch,
yes.
Concerning how Ghana is supposed to pay its debt and the banter. I would have wished that this was done quietly, behind doors, because this is the kind of administration you don't want to be engaging publicly on that level. We must understand that Trump never forgives. He can go down to the very, to the wire. So I think, but that is just, on the side. I think
you don't think that could be a major impact?
Well, like I'm saying, I wish things were done differently, and I think we've learned our lesson. Going forward, quiet diplomacy, because at the end of the day, you need something from them. I wish we were an independent state to the extent that we wouldn't need any help from any, major power. But we are not pursuing an isolationist policy. We are not living as an island. At some point in time, you need somebody's help, and especially this is the U.S. I've always said that the United States coughs and the world catches cold. So I would have wished that things were done differently, between us and them. But I also think that going forward, you must understand that there are political and economic risks. In fact, by this time, Ghana should have learned a lot of lessons. Because it appears every 2 to 3 years, something unexpected happens to our economy because of the global international system or geopolitics. It was COVID, and we saw how COVID was devastating to Ghana's economy. And then we move on to COVID, it became the Israel-Iran war. In fact, before that was the Russo-Ukraine war. And each of them have had major consequences on our politics and our economics. And now Trump came to power, we saw US aid. We saw the tariffs he's implemented. We saw the visa, arrangement. And now we are seeing this MCC compact that is, happening.
So Doc, what do you say to people who say that this is just a procedural break, where if we then restructure our debts properly, you can get back onto it? But I'm also learning from you that it is how the president feels at a particular time. How do I balance this two? Which one should I run with?
That's an interesting question. But there is something about Trump that everybody has realized, and people are gathering around him. And I've said it here before, that Trump usually wants an apple, but he shakes down the whole apple farm so that when he gets you, he winds you down to the very apple that you want. Trump is a transactional pragmatist. If you know him, he's a deal breaker.
What does that mean?
What it means, transactional pragmatism means that he wants something, he wants you to give him something for something. He always wants to make deal. And that means that he is coming with something he needs. If you're able to meet him halfway and give him something, if you bring something to the table, he gives you a chair. And so if he's talking about debt restructuring, and that is what, once again, that is what the foreign minister of Ghana, Honorable Kujata Blaka, was in the state to do. Because he was there with the deputy director of the foreign ministry. He was there to the then acting U.S. ambassador, Ghana ambassador to U.S. as a new administration, right, to look at debt risk, to look at the financial agreement between us and them, issues concerning regional security, issues concerning this visa arrangement. So it was all in order for him to do that as a new government. And then when he had gone to meet the U.S. Undersecretary for Political Affairs, Alison Hooker, in line with some of these debts, arrangements, the U.S. Republican to Senate, the Financial Committee Relations, the chairperson in Senate, who was a Republican, wrote those untoward words, tweeted those untoward words, and I think that infuriated, that got under the skin of Honorable Kujata Blaka, and rightly so, he fired on behalf of Ghana as a sovereign state. But it came back to what I was saying, that there's a lot of nuances concerning diplomacy. Sometimes these public diplomacy don't really yield. It is, doing things quietly, but you show him working for it. Because the Trump administration is not really one that you want. Look, South Africa.
Right.
Cyril Ramaphosa was in South Africa, you know, and we saw what happened. And we thought that maybe something good will come out of what has happened. But just a few months later, they are also suffering from the same tariffs that other countries are suffering from.
Well, again, still help me understand better, which means that even if the foreign minister didn't have that outburst, or if they did something, if they did it quite differently, you know, where we'll not know that there was some outburst between him and the senator as well, Trump could still have decided that, well, I am not dishing out anything under this MCC. Especially because though we're not the same country, it's not just us, they are different countries. And if you look at it, every country and the reason that they purport, for example, Burkina Faso, do you think that the reason why US will withdraw ours will be the same reason why the US will withdraw for Burkina?
Yeah,
what are the nuances? Which is, there's nothing you can do about it all?
No, I think there is. I mean, once again, I keep saying that Ghana is not an outlier. We are a product of circumstance. We are a product of U.S.'s foreign policies across the globe. But I think that, look, take some countries, for instance. Was it Colombia? At the instance of the Trump administration, when he wanted to use Colombia, I mean, wanted to transport, or how do you call it, send back illegal residents from Colombia and U.S., and the Colombian president refused. It became a banter publicly. It was a huge public outcry outburst between the two of them. But in the end, when Trump threatened with these 50% tariffs on goods from Colombia coming to U.S., immediately the man had to rethink how he wanted to take on Trump.
Yes.
And Trump sees this kind of things as victory. He always wants to be seen as saving face and presenting this machoism, this winner personality or persona to the people. So is there something that we can do? So as much as he has a U.S. foreign policy, those that are able to come around and negotiate with him are able to get some waivers of a sort.
Yeah.
And that is why when he gives you the tariff, when he imposes the tariffs or he imposes the visa ban on you, he tells you that within 2 months, in the case of Ghana, we were given, I mean, this is not as it happened concerning the visa.
Right, yeah.
We were given 2 months, 60 days window opportunity to try to engage the Trump administration, saying that, look, there is a 15% threshold of visa overstays. When you are getting close to it and you are moving above it, then we are going to punish you in terms of visa issuing. So what have you done so far about these things? How have you created a database so that people that have overstayed are issued travel documents? Because in international law, and that is why the US is using third-party state. Okay. Ordinarily, if I'm Ghanaian and I overstay my visa in the US, I'm supposed to be sent back to where? Ghana. But when your passport is expired and you don't have travel document, the law does not permit the US government to bring you back to Ghana. So the Ghanaian government must then create a database and issue travel documents to all those who have overstayed their visas for them to be sent back. Governments who are not able or willing to do that, Trump is saying that when we get your citizens, especially those that are hardened criminal, we will send them to a third country. We won't bring them to Ghana.
Right.
So countries like Rwanda, was it Eswatini? And I think one other country, which is Uganda, they are now becoming third parties. You know, so those countries that are able to meet President Trump halfway and address the issues that are very concern or critical to the U.S., you know, the Trump administration has, a way of lowering things down.
That's interesting. What does it look like for us? Tell us, first of all, the practical implications for us as a country, and if there's a way out for us.
Well, I think that, look, regardless of how you want to look at it, there are dire implications involved. Even the US aid that was $160 million short, of resources that are available to us has certain implications. And Ghana, the current Mahama administration had to find a way, to replace that amount. But this is a huge sum of money. I hear it's almost $400 to $500 million. And it goes into what you call the Ghana Compact, the Ghana Energy Compact, which is an energy, dimension of the Millennium Challenge Compact. Huge sum of money that is going into the powering of the country.
Yes.
In terms of road construction, in terms of health, so if these monies are not coming, what it means is that there is some lacuna, there is some gap somewhere that the government must already try to tighten its coffers. Already, you know how stressful the economy is, and things are beginning to get better. So what it means is that there is a gap. There is some vacuum that the government must try to find resources. I'm hoping that there is MIDA. MIDA is it MIDA? Yes, the the branch or the agency that is responsible for this development assistance, maybe they can begin to explore elsewhere.
Elsewhere where?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll probably have some shocks, some backup elsewhere. Otherwise, this will be very, very...
Does this suggest that the door is shut completely?
I don't think so.
For international negotiations, and particularly for us and the U.S.?
No, I don't think so.
We cannot trigger any negotiations?
I think we can. And that is one of the means. But you see, the thing is that we must find a way to be sufficient. And I understand. And I keep saying that the Trump presidency is usually bad news for Africa, but it's also very good news. Because what it means is that we are beginning to realize that we cannot be dependent on external benevolency. At some point, true independence means taking care of yourself without having to depend on somebody for survival. And so once these shocks, these assistance we are beginning to see how vulnerable we are as a people. Going forward, we begin to find ways, to fill in these gaps so that we don't go, begging. So I think that it's practical. The practical relevance of this is how we can begin to take care of ourselves, in the years coming.
With the conversation hinging nearly on debt restructuring, I want to get clarity, really. Do you think that if we did that, we'll still be able to get... And I ask this because of the way it is very highly dependent on the president, because it's their initiative at a particular time. If indeed, because it looks as though the conversation on the restructuring is coming more stronger and more nuanced than the others, of course, for international law, other things are in the background, but the one that is in the forefront is the debt restructuring. If we do,
I have said that Trump wants, it's a quid pro quo, right? So the issue about the debt restructuring is not ultimately to service all the debt.
Yes.
Right, but to see some commitment of a sort, and I know Ghana has serviced some part of the debt.
Is it to the U.S. or for the China? Because
to the U.S.
To the U.S.
So the anger is that you claim that you are going through difficult times and you are going through debt restructuring, and so you've paused paying us, but you are servicing debt to China. Sometimes, look, they are also looking at what is happening, and that is why I say that. When you know all these things are happening, you don't go with this back and forth public banter. Because you know your hand is in somebody's mouth. You don't hit their head. You know what will happen. They will bite your fingers. So, look, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I am all for independence and sovereignty. But I think that we do that when you know that we are capable of holding our own. And so I think that if we go back to the negotiation table with the American government,
how will we start going back to this table? Is the table even available?
Well, I think we haven't. Look, Ghana has a very fantastic bilateral relation with the U.S. Look, the first African American or Black Nobel laureate was in Ghana, together with W.E.B. Du Bois. Ghana has been like a very wonderful hotspot for the American community, especially the African American community. And forget about that cultural relationship. Ghana is a very key ally to the United States. That is why I think that there is always that avenue. Look at Ghana and Nigeria. Probably Ghana is the most reliable ally of the U.S. in the West African sub-region. All the other countries are hotspots for political instability, relatively.
Right.
So Ghana is
we have something we can go to the table with.
Offer, and these are the kind of leverages we need to be pulling. Of course, if you want to be established foothold, especially with the waning popularity of the West in the West African sub-region, Ghana offers that kind of hospitable environment, for the U.S. So these are things that we can leverage into letting them know we have a very beautiful bilateral military arrangement with the U.S.
Okay.
So these are things that we can also, leverage when we have these kind of discussions, with them. And I'm hoping that we have a very capable Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a capable, minister. And I'm hoping that this is the kind of leverages that, he can pull.
Well, if you're watching, fear not yet, at least. We've been having a conversation with Dr. Nanayaw Miraku joining us, and he's an international relations expert. Dr. Nanayaw, thank you for joining us and bringing some clarity to this very clouded conversation that we've been having in the public discourse. You're watching the AM show. Please stay. Welcome back to the show. Sponsored by Gbenyiri Company Limited and Syntex Ghana. Syntex Tank A is tough, A is strong. Now, joining me in studio and to celebrate some award winners this morning is Mrs. Mercy Nakoshi-Bwampong, Serene Insurance Company Limited Insurance Professional of the Year, and also Danny Anderson, CRAG Young Insurance Professional of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You look very bright. How are you basking in this win?
Oh, it's a humbling experience.
Okay.
Yes, so, yeah.
But tell me personally how this particular win for you, what it means to you personally.
Thank you very much, E.G. And it's been a very humbling experience, and one that affirms the values I've built over years. Celebrating this as part of my 25 years in the insurance industry is a great milestone for me. It's a testament that enduring commitment and dedication to excellence pays. And it pays at the right time. So personally, this is not an award for me alone. It's an award for my colleagues, my mentors, and for my team members who have walked this path with me in the last 25 years.
Congratulations, 25 years. If I do the math, I'm sure that I would be crawling by the time you started.
I joined the insurance industry in August 2000.
Oh, very, very big congratulations.
I got this award in August 2025.
Is this something, let me stay with you. Is this something you expected? Have you been expecting it for years?
No.
Okay.
No. I am driven by excellence.
Okay.
For me, it's excellence. You do it to achieve excellence or you don't do it at all.
Okay.
So I know that once you are driven by excellence, somebody is watching, and in due time, you are acknowledged for your work, your dedication, and commitment to duty. And well, that is what I see now.
Danny, Enterprise Insurance, congratulations as well.
Thank you very much.
Well, for you how long have you been in this anyway? How long have you been doing this?
I've been in the industry for about 9 years.
9 years? Okay, how has it been for you?
The journey has been rewarding, you know. As a young professional, you know, I didn't start out dreaming to be in the insurance industry. But once I got in and I realized the impact I'm making in people's lives and then the businesses that, you know, we protect their investments, I realized that insurance is a rewarding career. So for me, this award is a humbling reward, you know, but as a self-motivated person, I believe it's a fuel to drive me to push boundaries, committed to excellence. As Mercy said, insurance is all about excellence, you know, having the customer at heart. So the journey has not been easy, but I believe it's as a result of hard work and commitment. You know, I'm dedicated towards transforming the insurance industry in Ghana. So I believe this award is a plus, you know, to tap my back and say, continue going.
Oh, I wish I really could tap you in the back physically. You know. So you are the Young Insurance Professional of the Year. But tell me, how do you see young people impacted or shaping the future of insurance?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. In fact, the youth are the center of whatever we do now in the economy beyond insurance. So when it comes to insurance, I see the youth playing a pivotal role in driving insurance within the country. The youth, we are energetic, we are open to fresh ideas, and we are tech savvy. You know, we easily adopt digitally. And looking at where insurance is being driven in the country, where you have fintech companies, startups partnering insurance, I see the youth really positioned to drive insurance in the future. So our importance in insurance cannot be underestimated. You know, the youth play a key role.
Particularly, what about areas like ESG and digital transformation? You have just said that the youth are quite digitally savvy. What impact do you think they can contribute?
Okay. So when it comes to ESG, we are looking at climate-induced risks. And the youth, as of now, we are pushing for, greener products like crop insurance, agri insurance, inclusive insurance. We are driving change when it comes to the informal sector because they are the largest, contributor towards the economy and the largest employers as well. So, and recently, the NIC, in collaboration with the UNDP, and that's the United Nations Development Program, they launched a 3IC challenge, that's inclusive insurance innovation, where they brought young people, like the youth, to develop products, tailor-made products targeted at, these informal sectors that I just mentioned. So I believe, yes, the youth, we have to innovate, we have to continue learning, we have to be open to fresh ideas, and then drive insurance. To talk about digitization, in fact, it's one of the key things that I prioritize in customer service. Okay. Because how are the youth going to leverage on digital tools to drive customer service, making insurance accessible, to the various people or businesses that we have in this country. So we are looking at driving claims digitally and enterprise insurance. I'll have to bring enterprise insurance in here because one of our key drivers is digitization of our claims process. And as a youth, I'm part of that project, driving the digital agenda within the company. So I believe if I am already positioned, then young professionals out there are also in a better position to drive this digital adoption that we are all championing.
Let me go to Mercy. Mercy, do you believe that insurance plays a role in national development? Does it at all? And if yes, how can people contribute?
Cornerstone of national development.
Tell me about it.
So insurance drives investment. Investors will not have the peace of mind to do what they do best if there was no insurance. Insurance facilitates long-term planning and investment. Insurance allows people to release their funds for various... So everything we do is full of risk, and there are so many uncertainties. Insurance takes care of those uncertainties when they materialize to ensure that there's business continuity, and so there's no losses. So insurance, economy, any economy thrives or develops on a vibrant insurance industry. You go to the bank, you want a facility for your factory, and you must have insurance because they know should something happens, there must be something to kick in to ensure that there's business continuity. So it provides, it ensures that there's continuous employment, there's a continuous supply of goods, there's continuous production. So insurance is really at the center of every economic development. It drives, insurance industry drives economic growth and sustainability.
And so how can professionals at least help contribute to this growth?
For professionals, we have to ensure that we are engaging the public and creating insurance awareness and driving, letting people or the public appreciate the value of insurance, the value created by insurance or the industry, ensuring that people are well aware and we are doing the right thing. It also requires that we practice the ethical standards as set by our various professional bodies. Ethics is everything. It's at the base of any professional entity. So we have to be professional in our engagement with customers, in our business interaction with customers, so that there will be deepened confidence in the industry. That is the work the professional must do. Nobody else can do it for us but the insurance professional.
Well, Danny, what will you say to young people watching you today who want to pursue a career in insurance?
Okay, so to all the young people currently schooling or graduates, I would say insurance is not boring. Insurance is dynamic. Look beyond the policies that we are issuing. Look at the impact you are making to the individual lives and then the businesses that you are, protecting. As Mercy said, business continuity. So once you focus on the bigger picture, you realize that insurance is very rewarding. And the second advice I would want to say is that keep learning, develop yourself professionally, You know, if you're a graduate, look out for insurance courses. So we have the CIG programs that you can, you know, take upon to develop yourself professionally. Start small if you're a graduate, you know. Don't look out for the bigger roles, no. So you can take up sales role, take up customer service role, because these are skills you build over time and you don't realize you are building these skills.
The young people say that they work too much. Is it just a perception or is it real? But they have to be part of a company. Have you heard that before?
Yes, when it comes to sales.
Yes, sales. Yeah. I think you have been in the industry for years. I want you to address this.
Training.
Yeah. It is, huh?
It's training. You build yourself up. Indeed, you build yourself up better when you start walking. Because in walking, you are dealing with customers.
Right.
You are handling the objections. You are, by the time you finish speaking, the customer already has made up their mind. You convincing them is part of the customer's self-building and self-development process. So and in the industry, as much I know that most companies don't allow staff to stay in one role. So within a period of 5 to 6 years, you would have moved from different roles, and different roles expose you to different experiences. By the time you realize you've built bits and pieces of different experiences which have added value to yourself. And like he said, we have a vibrant school. That's the Insurance Institute of Ghana, where you can take various programs from diploma to advanced diploma, from certificates, advanced diploma, and diploma. And it all adds up to you. You add value to yourself.
Mercy, let me stay with you. What do you think is that real need in the insurance landscape in this country?
So I'll say digitalization.
Okay.
Or utilizing the data. The insurance industry is sitting on a huge amount of data. All of us are generating data with respect to sales, with respect to customer service, with respect to claims. But we are not doing very much when it comes to utilizing, analyzing that data to enable us develop customized products to meet the needs of our customers. We tend to have the same products, but we are not utilizing the data we have built over time. It's important, it's about time we start doing that. When we do that, we'll be speaking more to our customers, having heard from them over time, and having then implemented whatever we may have taken from them over time. It's important we do that. The other thing is creating awareness. You asked for one, deepening the insurance awareness. Deepening the insurance awareness. There are instances where you talk about something do you have property insurance? The person says, I don't own a house. But you are living in a house. You are liable for any damage to the building whilst you are in that building. So even as a tenant, you can take a policy to cover your potential liability to the landowner. So to the owner of the building. What it means is that we haven't deepened the understanding, the appreciation and awareness of insurance well enough for people to understand the benefits and value of insurance. And that is one key thing we need to do. I note that the NIC and the GIN, we have the Insurance Awareness Coordinating Group doing that, but there's more to be done. And we as professionals must all join the trail and ensure that we are doing this.
Mercy, congratulations to you once again. Danny, I'll take your final words.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think many of us believe insurance is a luxury, but that misconception, I don't believe so, because insurance is not a luxury. And as I always say, accident happens, life happens, sorry. Accidents can happen to anybody, whether you're a rich man or a poor man or a startup, company. You need to prioritize insurance. In fact, that should be the first thing you think about as a business owner. So in the informal sector like this, many of them still think you need huge sums of money to buy insurance. No, because I can tell you with as low as 50 cedis, the shop owner at Kantamanto or the provision shop owner in my community, the hairdresser, they can purchase insurance which as low as 50 Ghana cedis. So we need to change the mindset. And as Mercy said, intensify the education when it comes to the awareness, to change that mindset. We need to be able to have simplified products. you know, not to make insurance complicated or...
That is up to you, is it not?
Yeah, so that is what we are doing. Well... That is what we are doing. So
well, over here, so I want to say congratulations to you, Danny, and make sure that you're simplifying it for us so that we can be part of it. And Mercy as well, congratulations. For 25 years, you really deserve that award, and I hope that you keep going. We've been joined by our friends from both Serene Insurance Company and Enterprise Company. Mrs. Mercy Nakoshi-Bompon is from Serene Insurance Company, where I insure, though. And then Danny Anderson as well from Enterprise Insurance. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations. There's still more on the show. Please stay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for staying with us here. This is the AM show, and it's time to talk about the Habitat Fair. And our friends, our partners have also joined us in studio. Joining me are reps from the Automation Ghana Group and DPS Pipes. And from the Automation Ghana Group is Jeffrey Lutrot, his sales manager, and as well Bright Ate from DPS. He's part of the marketing team. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today in studio.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, tell me about the Automation Ghana Group.
So essentially, the group is four company conglomerate consisting of process and plant automation, automation solutions, electrical switchgear, and smart home solutions. We've been electrifying and automating our local community and West Africa at large since 2003 under the vision of our CEO, Engineer Kweku Asma. We've been in industries in the building sector. We've been doing electrical controls instrumentation in our industries, being the mines, food and beverage, power and energy, I mean, you name it. We've also, for the high-rising buildings you see in town, and commercial buildings, residential buildings, we also do MEP, make sure your building is future-proof.
What is MEP?
MEP is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Right, so we make sure your building is future-proof and future-ready if you cannot afford a smart system in your home. However, if you want to proceed to have like a smart thing, we do smart homes, we do building management systems, we do building energy management systems as well. Aside the solutions we offer, we also do trainings. We have partners with Siemens, we have partnerships with Phoenix Contact, we have a number of partnerships. We do local trainings for our technicians and our engineers at large. We have a couple of retail stores still around. I mean, you can just walk in, buy a smart device or buy an electrical device from our retail shops spread across the country. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
For somebody watching, they probably are wondering, what does it look like to have a smart home? For me, if I have a TV on my wall, it looks smart.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy a smart device and it's smart. That's smart, right?
Okay.
But then to have a true smart home, you have to have everything speak to each other. You want to walk into your room and your TV just doesn't turn on. It goes to your favorite sports channel. It's Sunday, Real Madrid is playing. You get to your room, 3 p.m. Your TV just comes on, and you can just watch your TV. You can just watch your favorite game. Yes. So that's one scenario with it. Smart TV. We have smart lighting, smart climate control with your ACs, your fans. There's energy management as well. You can check your consumption. I mean, beside what ECG also offers, you can also check to just confirm. There are so many applications for energy management. There's also water management. Gone are the days where you take a long stick, hit your poly tank, and make sure that you have water in there. We can check your water level, and you can make informed decisions, on that.
Okay. I'll come back to you for more on that. Right. Of course, we know about DPS, but once again, tell us about it.
DPS, we are a specialized manufacturing company into PPR pipes, HDPE pipes, and the usual PVC pipes. We also deal in household plastics as well. So we are known for our durability, premium quality, and safeness of our pipes because as our slogan goes, connecting you to life. Your life must be quality. And then without quality pipes, you cannot get quality water.
Last year, you taught me this. And I promise that I'm a terrible student. I only remember the PVC. The others that you mentioned, I still cannot grasp my head around it. So tell me again, you offer PVC and which type of pipes again?
PVC pipes, the PPR pipes. The PPR pipes.
Which one is the PPR?
The green pipes you normally see around.
Okay.
There are these green pipes. Normally they are good for the cold water, very cold water. We have industries that transfer cold water for their processes and all that.
Okay.
Also in our homes, we also use warm water in our washrooms and all that. Yeah, they are the best pipes for that.
Okay.
Yes, they are lead-free, copper-free. They don't rust, and they can absorb a high voltage of water, hot water.
Okay, Jeffrey, for Automation Ghana, how is it like for the markets? Do people in this country, are they accepting it? Have they accepted it?
So we've been doing this since 2003, as I said. And initially, it used to be an industrial thing, or a commercial building thing, where people with the big money, right, come for these things. However, as technology goes, things get cheaper, right? I mean, there's this law that says something like that, and it's gotten more affordable, and it's gotten into like residential spaces. People with chamber and halls are all getting smart devices. You can get like a smart switch, smart bulb, a smart plug. They are good to go, and you don't have to break the bank for that. So it's pretty
that's good to know. Well, why did you decide to be part of the Habitat Fair? I know, but I just want to I know, but I just want people to know again.
Yeah, well, we understand that there are a lot of people in the market looking for these type of solutions, but they probably don't know where to get it from. The Habitat Fair is a great platform for this. I mean, yeah, my colleague here is working with pipes. People need pipes in their homes. People obviously need electrical supply into their homes. People need some level of comfort, convenience, and also check their energy and water consumption as well. That's why we are here. We want to show people what we have and know where they can get their things from. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
I know. Last year I had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Why are you here again this year?
Okay. Habitat Fair is a very important platform for DPS pipes. You know, a lot of people classify pipe as one. Yes, but yes.
You're shouting at me. That's me.
No, you. You see, you ask the plumber to get you a pipe, and it doesn't matter the kind of pipe. As far as the water is running through your homes, you are okay with it. But no, yes, there is a level of safety when it comes to these pipes. Some are not safe in the market. And then DPS has gone the length and breadth of it to make sure that our pipes are Eurofin certified, they are Ghana Standard Authority certified, and we practice the certified ISO standards. We are keen with that. So we want to educate people. We want to educate homeowners, those who are applying the pipes. That's our plumbers. We call them our engineers. And the real estate agencies that know it's not any kind of pipe that you need to use. And sometimes they use the wrong dimensions of pipe for wrong work. So we are in collaboration with the Ghana Plumbers Association. There will be education on the fair. We teach people how to treat their pipes in their homes well. We give out some plumbing tips during this period. And we are also open for discount to real estate businesses. Yes.
Hey, you are training the plumbers. Thank you, because they're so notorious for Madam Bebawa or China Beba and all of that. You're training them as well.
Yes, aside the skill that you have, you need to understand the business aspect of it.
Right.
At DPS, we are dedicated to that.
Okay.
Secondly, as my brother is also saying, the system is becoming smart. So there are smart way of installing. You don't need to be chiseling the walls and all that. There are machines to do that. There are ways to install those things. So if you don't imbibe this innovation into them, they will buy the pipe and still come and complain that it is inferior, it is not working, it has broken and all that. Yes, so
I think I understand that.
Yes, all those things.
Jeffrey, for this fair that's coming, if people come by your stand, what kind of offerings do you have? What are they likely to see?
Okay, so first of all, they would see a smart booth, right? That's one thing to see. You come, you'll be mesmerized by what we'll put up there. However, for this fair in particular, we have some exclusive offerings for, as I mentioned, we have the chamber and hall guys. And also this year, we have one strategy to make sure that people don't get flooding situations in their home. I'm happy I have DPS here on flooding, because let me just touch on that. For your plumbing, there's normally these things called soft pipes. I don't know the technical term, maybe it has a name for it. There are these soft pipes that could fail sometimes, right, and have water gushing out. So we've put together a DIY type system where you can come by and just install yourself. Once you get a leakage, your pump cuts off and the water doesn't come in. You are safeguarding your space, right? So that's one thing we have there. We also have a chamber hall package that is smart lighting, smart AC control, smart TV control.
How does the smart AC work? Like it turns
you can.
on and on?
So you know the thing about ACs, if you go into your room and turn on the AC, you don't really feel it. But it's better if you walk into a room that is properly air conditioned. So the smart AC control, you can trigger your AC to come on just before you get home, and you have like a perfect space, for that. So we are offering a smart lighting, smart AC control, smart iron as well, right? Not necessarily the iron being smart, but you can be able to turn off your iron remotely or something. You can put a timer on it or something of the sort. And we are offering all of this for 800 cedis. Please come and get it. It's sub 1,000. You're not getting this offer anywhere. So anybody can pass by our stand with it.
This is only at the fair, beyond the
fair.
fair.
Yeah, beyond the fair, we are not doing that again. When you come after, we will give it to you for like 2,000.
Hey, please though, if you're not doing anything, please, just this weekend, please go ahead and book a slot. At least 800 Ghana cedis. Your life will be a little smarter. Yeah. Question, let me start my consultation here though.
Yeah, sure.
Please, do you have the mechanism that can open your main gate 30 minutes away before you get home?
Yeah. That's like basic automation. That's like one of the basics. Yeah, so we do that as well. For you, it means when I go back to the office, I'll just put that in as one of the packages if your viewers are interested in that.
Me plus my viewers will greatly appreciate that because we're always losing our clickers.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Nice. You can put it on your phone. You can just use your phone to just open your gate.
You're amazing. At this fair, DPS,
yes.
what are you offering?
Yes, we have special offer for various group of our clients. The plumbers, that's our engineers. Yeah, we are giving out machines, and then we will be rolling out the processes soon. So get in touch with DPS, and then we'll tell you how the system.
Would you give us discounts? We beg. We beg.
We have discounts. Aside discount, we just want to reward them for being with us for all these years. So we'll be dashing out some machines. They are working machines and all that.
This is to the plumbers, whom we call your engineers.
Yes, for the plumbers. For the real estate, we have a good contract. We want to table before them that we want to solve because most of their projects are years and all that. So we would like to engage them and then supply them so that that aspect of the building will not be a pressure on them and all that. At a very relaxed rate that they can be paying in due course.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the industries too. We are here. We are reliable. All those big agencies who are working with us know the level of reliability we offer, and then the speed at which we do our deliveries is great.
Well, so until the weekend, now and after, where can we find you? You're active on social media, however, where we can find you.
Yes, you can find DPS Pipes on Facebook at DPS Pipes, and then on Instagram, DPS Pipes, and also you can mail us at info@dpspipes.com.
Okay.
So info@dpspipes.com and also www.dpspipes.com.
Okay, Jeffrey.
Also call us on 0543 662727.
The number is no lotto number.
No.
Call them. Right, go on with the number.
Okay, 0543 662727. And we are open to do business with you.
Okay. Jeffrey, how can we find you?
Okay, so you can find us on the Sprintex Road. You can just put in Google Automation Hub. That's our headquarters. You can find us there. You can also find us on Automation Ghana, on Automation GH, actually, on Instagram and Facebook. You can also visit our website, automationghana.com. You see everything we have to offer on the industrial level, on the building and residential aspect as well. For the number, you can call them, just reference my phone. So for the number, you can call 0302 812-680.
Okay, you want to say that number again?
0302-812-680.
Okay. So whatever you do, at least save some 800 Ghana cedis. Your life can be that simple, whether you are in that single room, self-contained, or chamber or hall. Yeah. You'd find life a little easy and as well. So look out for their stand when you go to the Habitat Fair. Look out for Jeffrey. Show him your 800 Ghana cedis. Look out for Bright as well, and then he'll give you some very good offer. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Thank you.
You're still watching the AM show, but quickly, before I go for a break, here's how to make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space into one that truly reflects your style and comfort, all with the support from EcoBank. EcoBank has once again partnered with Joy News to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank Joy News Habitats Fair. This year's edition makes your journey to a comfortable modern home, which Jeffrey will be helping you with, even more accessible and affordable. With EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later, you can easily renovate, upgrade, or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle, whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops and phones, or solar energy solutions. EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle, from staying connected with the latest devices to embracing sustainable living. Our flexible consumer loans, assets, finance, and salary advance products are designed to help you bring your vision to life. Enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and fast approval from a bank that understands your needs. So go on, visit our stand and take the first step towards the home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. Be part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Please stay with me. I'll be back shortly. Thank you for staying with us. We're nearly wrapping the show, but before we do that, are you looking to do things differently to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market? Statistics show it's tough out here for university graduates with only a few landing jobs immediately after school. And so doing things differently is what the Design and Technology Institute, DTI, is all about. DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication, design innovation, graphic design, sound engineering, animation, photography, etc., and entrepreneurship. Our programs are internationally recognized by the American Welding Society, Pearson BTC, and CTVET, so you can shine here in Ghana or anywhere in the world. And so if you're ready to do things differently and chart your path, check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admissions, or you can also call them on 054-169-3534, 054-169-3534 for more information. And as well, ABC Game is paying big, and your name could be the next. Dial *262#. Pick any 3 letters, stake from 5 Ghana cedis, and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis. With draws daily at 10 a.m., 5 p.m. on Adum TV, and 9 p.m. as well. You can play multiple times a day. And for the bold players, Friday jackpot is the real deal. 1 letter, 3 times stake, 2 letters, 8 times stake, 3 letters, any order, 200 stake. Exact order is 2,000 stake for up to 20,000 Ghana cedis apps for grab. And so play more than 10 per round to 10 Ghana cedis per round to increase your winnings. It's definitely licensed under the NLA, under the Caritas platform. And as well, let me bring you the update here. Here is your pension education series tip by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Now, for today, understanding Ghana's 3-tier pension scheme. Do you know Ghana's pension system has 3 powerful tiers, all designed to ensure that you accumulate enough pension benefits for a decent retirement life? Well, Tier 1 is your mandatory basic national social security scheme managed by SNIT. Under the scheme, you enjoy monthly pensions when you retire. It also provides invalidity, survivors, and immigration benefits for foreigners who decide to leave the country for Tier 1 again, securing your basic pension needs for the future. And this is by the NPRA. And here's what they want to do: ensuring retirement income security just for you. So you're still watching the AM show, and I want you to be part of the conversation. There's so much that has happened this week. DSTV conversation, Gbenyiri land conflicts. The Interior Minister has inaugurated a committee to at least mediate or broker some peace as well. If you're also happy about how Black Star actually secured a spot in the game yesterday, you can as well share that with us. You can call 030-2211-691, 030-211-691. We'll be kind to put the number on the screen. You can call and share your thoughts with us as well. How do you feel about the arrest of Abronye? Every other thing you want to share your thoughts with is very welcome. I'll be happy to talk to you. I'll go over the number again, 030-211-691. Have your say on the show today before we wrap the show. All right, I've got Eric. You're calling us from Kumasi. Eric, good morning. What are your thoughts?
You are looking splendid this morning. You always smile your face with this. You're beautiful looking. Thank you so much. My thoughts are or whatever is there. The name sometimes I lay down on the bed and I look up to God and ask Him, did He create us equal at all? You wake up, you pray for peace, you go out, do your work, come home, sleep, wake up, go out, do your work, come out, sleep. Where from all this fighting? You fight, you kill each other. Others cannot stay in their rooms, others cannot stay in their houses, they cannot go out for work. What at all are they gaining? There is no conflict in any part of this country than the northern part. What is the problem? Can they just tell us what the problem is so that we can all help solve? What is it? Sometimes you ask yourself, are they created different from any other person? Why are they always fighting? Why? Why are they doing this? The president is trying everything. It's like you being sick and you are sent to the hospital. The doctor diagnosed your sicknesses, bought you medicine. Take the medicine. You say, I will not take. That is practically example. That is the only thing the government can do. Why? I just feel sad for my soul.
Eric, thank you for sharing your thoughts this morning. Question everybody is asking, but we're excited that the Interior Minister has inaugurated this committee. At least we'll make progress from there. Thank you, Eric, from Kumasi. You can as well call us on 030-2211-691, 030-2211-691 on your screen now. Could be the Gbenyiri conflict. You want to share your thoughts on that. You also want to share your thoughts on the impasse between Multi-Choice Ghana and as well the Minister for Communication. But let's go to Cape Coast and speak to Frank. Hello, Frank.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Frank. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome. I would like to speak about what is going on at the north. Please, our brothers and sisters in the north should know that we are one people. The little thing that stuck off the route and then the fight should be solved. The current one, they said, it's a parcel of land, a plot of land, not even a parcel of land. Why don't they come down, sit down and put things together? Please, they should give us a break. They should give us a break. And I would like to see something more about Abronye's issue.
Proceed, Frank.
Abronye is not the only person has been arrested. He is no superhuman. When they were in power, what didn't he do? What didn't they do? They should keep quiet and suffer. Kama is a beach. Kama is a beach. They should keep quiet.
Frank, we can use that words on TV. I appreciate that you're sharing your thoughts, but we cannot use such words on TV. Well, that'll be all for today. I hope that we're able to pick more of your calls another time, but thank you for making a date from 6 a.m. all through to now. My name is Emefa Akusia Adeti. Time now for Joy News Desk, and Mamiesi Nyamicha Thompson is up next.